Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, our Monday show, presented by our friends from Muskox Quality Flannels. Just because spring is arriving and summer is around the corner, it is not the end of muskox season. As somebody who has spent many a spring and summer evening on a beach in a backyard, cozy in a muskox flannel, I'm telling you right now is the perfect time to go to gomuskox.com, where Couch and the Rube listeners can get $15 off a muskox flannel with the code Peacock. And also, they have hats and tees. And frankly, if you are a Michigan State fan today and you need to wrap yourself in warmth and comfort and feel good about how you look, feel about other things in your life, feel good about them, Muskox can help you do that. You got that sixth chin? Let Muskox take it to 4. Go to gomuskox.com. Again, Peacock. Jason, how you doing, brother?
Pound the bushes.
What do you want? By the way, 6 chins down to 4. Is that the goal for 2026 here?
That's my April. Absolutely.
Jesus. Hey, buddy. Yeah, I've been watching this Danny Hurley referee thing at the end of the game. Did you see?
He headbutted him?
Wasn't
or just put his head on his forehead?
His head, forehead's touched. But, I mean, it was just fascinating. If that ref really wanted to, he could have called the tech right there, right?
Yep.
And got away with it.
Yep.
And Duke would have won.
Yep.
And that would have set a precedent to all these coaches and maybe players possibly. I don't know. That ref could have done a big service there. I mean, I loved watching Duke lose. I can't stop watching this. Like, what? It's such a wild reaction period. But anyway.
Well, it's sort of like, a lot of times you touch your forehead against a baby's forehead. It's a loving little thing.
Yeah, but it was like the whole, staring right into his eyes
and
getting up close to him. And, I guess in the moment, the referee's like, all right. What a dick.
There are a couple ways to look at it. Yep, the referee either didn't have the cojones to make the call, or he showed restraint by not wanting to decide the game. But either way, he could have made the call.
Cojones. It takes bigger than cojones to make a call in that situation.
Yeah,
that place would have lit on fire, I think. But anyway, this weekend sucked.
Yeah.
But, it was fun watching Duke lose that way. But
the show is going to be outstanding.
I don't think it is.
No, it's probably not. No, it's not.
I saw the Twitter questions. There's like 90,000 of them.
Yeah, a lot of hot takes here. We're going to get into a lot of them. They're not all. These are the shows I worry about, frankly, because I worry that we're going to be very single-minded. But there are a lot of different takes, a lot of different discussions to get into about MSU basketball, MSU hockey, the Michigan component, how everybody's feeling. Lots of different things, and then some veering on the Tigers, and
ass.
I actually took out just about all of the F words just because there were so many of them. I just did a search, and I was like, all right, I'm going to change this.
Don't censor the show. Come on, this is a fucking podcast.
I don't
swear.
mind.
Don't listen to the 3 people that write in once every 6 months and say we swear too much. I try to hold back as well sometimes, but I'm not going to censor myself if people mean it. I mean, the people, they're kind enough to write in.
I didn't change the tone. We
don't even know what we're going to talk about next week. I mean, that was the most depressing thing. I'm like, fucking hockey's done too. And by the way, that was just, if not more devastating. And I'm not an MSU hockey guy. I followed along. I did watch on Saturday, and that, my God, it's just endless. And Tiger Woods, that motherfucker, he can't drive. He needs me, man. He needs me. I'll be his guy. I know he's secretive, but man, I can be secretive. I'd be Tiger's guy.
Much bigger.
I'd kill for him, I think. Like, I don't support it. Dude, I'm serious. I don't support what he did. He's a terrible driver. But these people, the reactions over the weekend was absolutely wild.
Well, he's clearly going through some stuff, and he has for a while.
What do you mean? How do you know?
Well, I mean,
he had to break out of the top of a car and get out of there. Like, wouldn't you be dazed and confused if you got? I mean, he's got a couple perks, rocking. But have you seen all the surgeries he's had?
That's what I mean. That's what I'm
supposed
saying.
to. The thing is, just don't drive. Like, what the fuck is he doing driving? I don't care. You want to get pilled out. I mean, I don't know. He looked all right on TGL. Looked like he was going to be back for the Masters. Pill out if you want to. Just don't kill somebody on the road. You're a terrible driver. It's known. But.
Well, and here's the thing. In this day and age, with all the ride shares and everything, there just is no excuse.
I don't even want to hear ride share. Dude, you're a billionaire and counting every day.
No excuse.
You can get somebody, a handler, your right-hand person that drives you wherever you need to. It's just mind-boggling that he still has control. He wants control that badly over that shit.
So if you're an MSU fan and you're medicating yourself a ton, right, we recommend...
Don't drive.
Yes, and we recommend, Groovy Donuts and Muskox flannels for medication. But, like, if you're going to go the pill route or the booze route, just,
no.
have somebody else take you where you got to go.
Absolutely. That's the best part of being alive in 2026. You don't have to do that shit or deal with it.
Anyway. The hockey was a much bigger gut punch.
Oh, yeah.
It was because of the way it happened. The basketball, like the second the bracket came out, the idea that Michigan State could lose to UConn was probably the more than likely scenario.
And Tom said it. He's like, the better team won.
Yeah.
Michigan State, they didn't get to the 50-50 balls. Everybody always says they miss easy shots. You didn't win. So, like, it was just, it sucked. But then the next day, it added to it and then more. It was just wild. And again, I'm not even a big MSU hockey fan. I don't follow it like some of these other people.
Well, I think you can look at this from a couple different frames if you're an MSU fan, right? There's the frame of the overall weekend is just completely awful.
Yeah.
And then
Michigan playing Tennessee.
But what adds to everything, right, is Michigan gets Tennessee. Their hockey team. I'm
not talking about Michigan.
Their hockey team, and Michigan's been a better basketball team all year, so this was always likely too that they were going to get to the Final Four. Everything that's happening was sort of likely. It just sucks in a vacuum for people. And then the hockey team chokes just as hard as Michigan State. The difference was they got to a fourth goal, and Michigan State didn't. And Michigan State lost arguably one of its best couple players too, and that made a difference on those face-offs late. But Michigan State blew that game without question. But Michigan hockey tried to, but then they're going to the Frozen Four. Michigan women's basketball still left today in the Elite Eight. Like, everything's rolling, everything's coming up roses, right? Yeah. And then Michigan State is just a notch below, and that adds to it.
And I was reading about the MS. By the way, kudos to you. I know we bust Graham's balls, but to go from that to hockey and your coverage, the 3 quick takes, even after the hockey thing, that was pretty great. Good for you. I want to kiss your ass a little bit. We always bust your balls, so we have to be nice at some points when you do good. But watching the MSU hockey team and being told it's like the way they were playing prevent defense.
Yeah.
And I hate losing that way more than anything in life is when you have a lead like that and you're sitting there, and I don't know if you want to call it playing scared, but not playing the way you've been playing all
Correct.
game to get to that lead. I would rather play that way, and then if they end up coming back, so be it. I'll take it. But if you want to sit there and act like you're just throwing the puck around and trying to get away just to get some time to go off the clock. And I'm not good at hockey, so I'm not trying to claim like I knew what I was talking about at the end of that game, but it just seemed like they were just trying to get it out of there because there was a little nervous tension or something. I don't know. But I hate, and it goes for football or any other sport when that happens.
Chucking it, icing it, and they even said they did it too much. But it was, and then you get to overtime, and it's one of the worst. I mean, look, you can say that was coming in overtime, but that is really bad luck. You get a senior, you get a shot that's going to go way over the net, above the goalie's head. You can see Augustine like rising up. I don't even think he was going to mess with it. But then Shouty, from everything we can tell, looks like he goes to like knock it down because it's so high, and it hits the bottom of his glove and goes in. Yeah. Like, that's just like the worst luck in the world. That said, like, the thing about hockey that's, like, I watch a lot of soccer. You know this, right?
I do.
And there are lots of teams that go into this shell, this low block, they call it, where you're doing what MSU hockey was at the end. You're just sort of between the ball and the goal. You're trying to put as many guys as you can to make it hard for there to be space for the other team to tie it up, or if you got a lead. And the thing is, in soccer, the way the sport's set up, it works a little bit better, and you try to counter with it and all that. Hockey, the puck just moves too fast. The whole sport's faster. There are fewer guys. Like, it just, that whole approach, and I get that when a team is behind and they've got less to lose, and naturally they're going to have opportunities and they're going to push it and they're going to take risks, and it can sometimes look like that. But Michigan State stopped playing. They stopped playing the way they were playing. There's no question about it, and that's why they lost the game. Yeah. And and look, there are a lot of other things that had to go wrong. There's no doubt that, to me, if Charlie Stramel doesn't break his ankle, you're talking about the guy who takes every single not every single, he takes half their faceoffs. And Instead, Shouty takes 40 faceoffs, like double the faceoffs he usually does. 2 of them he loses in his own end lead to those goals. And, one of the great faceoff guys in college hockey scrambles out for the game. So, but that happens, right? I mean, it still were up 3-1 playing without him. All their goals happened after he got hurt. It wasn't like they didn't create this. Didn't like they didn't have the talent for it. It's one of the hard things about, like I try to stay away from the argument right now about the best of 3 is the better way to go to hockey and home ice and all that, because all that's true. This is still a crap way to lose. Hockey should not ever be a single elimination sport at that stage in a tournament like that. It's all true. It doesn't change a thing, but it's not the day to make that argument because you're up 3-1. Like you'd done the work. And the big thing is Michigan State hockey had done the work in a setting where they fall down 1. They do get a little bit of a lucky bounce to tie it, but then they took over. Like they looked like a team that had been freed, that wasn't playing scared anymore. They just looked like the better team, and then they just stopped doing that. So like it's all on them. It's a brutal way to lose. It's up there with, I think, the best one I could come up with was Georgia Tech, 1990 Michigan State basketball with Steve Smith misses the free throw and Kenny Anderson gets the shot, because not only it's not like you don't have other opportunities to get back, but a lot of those guys don't. And Heathcote probably didn't. And that was just such a great opportunity to get to that Final Four. If Heathcote gets to that Final Four, he's probably in the Hall of Fame. They would have lost to UNLV in the Final Four, but they would have beaten Minnesota in the Elite Eight probably. Like that's the best. And this team didn't need to win at all, but getting to the Frozen Four would have been a step. They would have been, you get there, and the teams that are there right now, I mean, the way Denver's playing is incredible. You could easily lose in the Frozen Four. But if you get there and you take that step, and this team, at least Augustine and these guys who are part of the initial ascension, this is the end of the initial ascension in a lot of ways, and it should have ended in the Frozen Four, and you didn't get that done. And there's no way to sugarcoat it. It doesn't mean Adam Nightingale's a crap coach. Doesn't mean the programs. I mean, they've done the hard stuff, right? The hard stuff is winning 5 out of 6 Big Ten titles if you count the tournaments in the regular season. 3 straight regular seasons. The grind of that in one of the best, I would say, 2 leagues in college hockey, and they've done that. They just can't get over this mental hurdle, and I think it is something there. I think that the way they played in their opener against UConn was a little. Careful. And then they were timid after they got a 3-1 lead, and then you could just feel it coming after that. After the game got to 3-2, and that's on them. That's something they've got to work on. That's an element. You can have all the physical, you can have Will Morlock be a great strength and conditioning coach who has them in tip-top shape, and even them, I think they wore down a little late, but you can do all the stuff. You can have all the physical traits, and they have an amazing group coming in, and they have a lot of guys coming back. They may be better next year. Like they're not. This isn't going to hurt them getting prospects. You got the Philadelphia, Phillies Flyers GM today talking about Porter Martone and what a great job Michigan State did developing him. Like the NHL isn't going to stop sending you guys. The Ontario Hockey League isn't going to stop. Canadian juniors that come. This is not at all something that prevents what's happening. But the best analogy I could come up with that would be similar for them is like this is the equivalent of, say, MSU basketball, initial rise under Izzo, 98, 99, 2000, where it just kind of, it's surprising. Comes out of a lot of middling years. It's incredible. Everybody's behind it. Say they win those 3 Big Ten titles, but they can't get past the first weekend of the Sweet 16. They keep losing in the NCAA tournament. It would be like, boy, this is amazing, because it would have felt like that back then, but there's this bugaboo of the NCAA tournament. Why is that happening? And that's what it is. It is that at this point, and so they'll have to figure that out, and you can't just not live life for the full next year, and they got to make sure they don't put too much pressure on next year, and if obviously it'd be ideal if college hockey would get their head out of their ass and make it a 2 out of 3 on campus sites and have a real tournament to get to the Frozen Four, which they're probably not going to do, so screw them, but that's not why this happened. That's on Michigan State.
Can you imagine if Michigan State would have lost the way Duke lost yesterday, and then the hockey team? Like, the show would have ended, right? Like we would have been just done. There's no way we could have done a show today. Like
it would have been
over.
You'd have to wear two Muskox flannels for that. So I'm driving back with Nate Bott from the LSJ. We covered the hockey together in Worcester on Saturday. But he had driven to Worcester, and I had flown up to Providence. He picked me up from D.C. on Saturday morning before the game.
What a team.
Great team. He's a great, by the way, he's a great travel partner. There are a lot of people I don't know if I could do 11, 12 hours in the car with.
Really?
Nate Bott, 100 out of 100.
Really?
Like, just a great guy to travel with. I got work done.
What makes him great?
Conversation's good. Doesn't say one annoying thing. Good driver. You never feel like, oh God, what's he doing? Is he paying attention? Is he on a phone? Is he on? No. Good driver. Feel 100% safe.
Yeah.
He even stopped like halfway through outside Rochester, New York. He stopped. We had dinner with like my aunt and uncle and cousins.
Jesus.
Like he had to put up.
Did that?
He loved that. Well, one of the kids is a huge MSU hockey fan, and they're big hockey family, big hockey players. Like they have a rink in their backyard, sort of people. So they're into it. And Cam, the oldest, is just a diehard Michigan State hockey fan.
Rink in your backyard.
Incredible, yeah. He puts it. Yeah.
Who paid for dinner though?
Wheels the ice in. My aunt and uncle did. They don't have the rink, but they they're it's my cousin's husband. Well, it's their house. I shouldn't say it's not his. They're together. And I didn't mean that. In case they're listening, that would be anyway. But we were right near the border at Niagara Falls. We were worried. Like there's like a minute. We're listening to the game on the radio, and there's like a minute left, and we're getting to the guy who's like asking, "Do you have weapons? Can you come into the country?" And we're like, we can't turn down the radio. What is it? What's the timing of this going to? And we were able to listen to it just before we were asked if we had any weapons, and we did
As you
not.
yelled, are you talking about the Duke finish? The
Yeah.
Duke UConn.
Yeah.
You had to have screamed. Did you just like yell out loud, just randomly? Well, it's different on the radio. I
It's
guess.
different. In the radio call, it was like, wait, did that just happen? You know, and then he pulled it up on his phone, and we looked at it. But it was, it was. That is what's so interesting is, I mean, UConn. Like UConn, I would feel worse if I was Duke. Like John Shire and Adam Nightingale actually have quite a bit in common right now, right? Great teams. 2 years in last year, they're in the Final Four. You know, he's got Cooper Flagg, and they're way up on Houston and blew that. And then this happened. Like, stuff happens in college sports. This isn't an indictment on Nightingale in terms of, now, you do need to make sure psychologically you're doing the right things, that strategically you're doing the right things in games. You absolutely have to do an introspection. You have to do everything you can to prevent this moment again. With MSU basketball, doing everything you can to prevent what happened against UConn means a few things. It means maximizing your roster this offseason to give yourself the best chance next year to be a better seed, to be in a better spot. You can still lose like Duke did. Duke had the best team all year. Maybe Arizona, maybe Michigan, but probably Duke. Duke beat Michigan, right? So all year, they have a couple nasty injuries late. They have a big lead. They have the best player. And, you know, they probably screwed that final play up, and then a guy hit a 35-foot shot. You know what I mean? Like that stuff can happen. But you can put yourself in a position where, like what happened to Michigan State basketball, I don't want to say it was inevitable, but it felt like a likelihood. The way they had lost to Michigan, the way they had lost to Duke, we had just seen them not quite at that elite tier. They could certainly play with those guys. They took a lead in every one, you know, every Michigan game, the Duke game, the UConn game, they had a second half lead. Like, it's not like they're not right there.
Don't coach my team.
But they don't quite have what those teams had in terms of, you know, and getting way behind and missing shots and sort of being out of sorts was kind of a weird thing early for that team. But part of that's a matchup. And they just don't quite have it. And so you have to make sure you do. And next year they have a chance. It's not like it's a total rebuild. It's not like this was the group. You know, they've got a lot of guys that can come back. They've got what appears to be a glaring, obvious need at the center position. And then you're in a day and age where you can fix that. You know, 15 years ago, you just have to kind of deal with it. And maybe you try to find a JUCO guy or something. But, like, you can go out and fix it. And the beauty of it is you don't have to fix it. You don't have so much you have to fix that it's really going to stress your roster in that sense. Most of the money you're going to have to spend is retaining guys, which I think Izzo prefers. Like, Jeremy Fears Jr. is going to cost a lot. He's going to get paid way more in college than he could in the NBA.
What's
and in
a
the
lot?
NBA would be that.
Like how much?
I've had people say to me 3.5. Now, but it'll be over 2.
Sounds light.
It'll be over 2 for sure. But the and granted, for what they want a guy to come back and they want him to lead their program. And he could go anywhere, including in college. If you know, if they were going to, they're not. You can't do what the Pistons did to Allen Houston in 1996. Here, you don't do that. You don't come at somebody low, right? You don't live with that regret.
But you could go a little lower, knowing that Fears wants to stay at Michigan State, though.
Well, it's a negotiation. You figure out where that is. You make sure you don't insult him, and you figure out what it is you have and what you're able to do for the whole roster. And you have to keep in mind that this is not last year. The House settlement is in full play. So, and while a lot of people are working around that, and while a lot of people aren't, like a year ago, that most of the contracts were signed before the House settlement. So you had the rev share component and unlimited stuff. And some teams will do that anyway. But like in the Big Ten, where you have football taking up the lion's share of your rev share, and one could argue that with next year's basketball team, just forego the next year of football, do $20 million on basketball, and just lose the hell out of football for a year and then reverse it. But no, I'm just kidding. But nonetheless, it's helpful when it's your own guy you got to spend on. Because one of the things I think Izzo struggled with, and this would be the freshman, Adams, who went to Maryland, right? The amount of money that I heard he wanted was going to be more than they were paying their core 4 guys, and the more amount of money he got. And so if you can't bring in a freshman over guys who've earned it, and that just doesn't work. It doesn't work in the locker room. But now when the top guy is going to be a guy, everybody understands his role. Everybody understands his importance to the program. Nobody questions Jeremy Fears, the need to have him and what he is to MSU basketball. It makes it easier to do, and obviously you're not going to bring a big man that costs more than that. But
you wouldn't?
No.
Like if there was a big that you knew you could bring in $5 million, you wouldn't do it.
Izzo wouldn't do that.
Really?
And they don't have
but
$5
even
million
Fears,
to pay big man.
Why not?
Why would you? $5 million?
Where's Don Williams? Hey, Don, we need $5 million for a big.
Don't
what
tell
is
Greg.
this shit? Yeah, well, tell Greg. Couch will see you at a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah,
so chill. True. What are we talking about? Absolutely. How many years does Tom Izzo have left? I can't believe we even talk like this.
Well, but it's not going to cost that to get
I can
the big
understand
you want.
not wanting to offend certain players in the locker room, but if there's a big out there and you need $5 million, Tom, to get him, okay. I mean, I don't understand. Then what are we doing this whole thing for? If that's not the case,
I'm not saying it's not going to cost that to get the big they need. Is what I'm saying. It's going to cost a lot, but they won't have to pay him more than Fears, and they shouldn't. I mean, you won't have to. They need to go get a big, and they need to get it. And obviously we'll see who stays and who goes in the program. I did an analysis today where I looked at every single player and what their roles could be. There are some guys I'm curious to watch. I mean, Divine Ugochukwu. Like when you start to look at the backcourt next year and everything, like I do wonder about him. I'm not saying he won't come back. I'm not saying it wouldn't be helpful to have him. I just wonder. You wonder even with guys like Kurt Tang and Jesse McCullough where their heads are. You just never know. I mean, last year I wrote this I wrote it earlier this year because I wrote this analysis a year ago, like on this day, posted it after this show, and within 30 minutes, 3 guys were in the portal, including Trey Holloman. And the whole thing was.
That's what I mean. Trey Holloman will just
right.
change your mind forever going forward now because you just have no idea.
Well, and look what's happening to the MSU women's team right now with Ines Sotelo going in, and that surprised me. I thought she had a really good deal. She was hurt this year, part of it, and she was going to be a big part of them moving forward. And you just never know when a kid's happy or wants something else or what they might want to do. It's hard to know. I would be very surprised if all the players who can come back do come back. And so they might have to go get a couple guys, and you see what that looks like. And then that gets, they're in really good shape on the wing, probably at shooting guard, depending on who stays and goes, at point guard, at power forward. But where they are not is center. And you don't have to insult. First of all, in this day and age, if you're not ready to be the guy, you have to expect they're going to bring somebody over you. And when these guys are young players, Ethan Taylor be a true freshman, Jesse McCullough, a redshirt sophomore, you're not insulting them by bringing in a veteran big, right? It's insulting if you bring in a sophomore, right? And even unless you're prepared.
It's only insulting if they don't give them a chance to prove themselves.
Correct. And
that's the only time.
And you got to compete. You got to compete for this stuff. I mean, it's what happened last year, not filling that 2-guard position. It may have helped them bring in Jervis, the freshman. But I don't know if they brought in a younger guy, whether that would have affected him at all. But ultimately, they didn't have play at the 2-guard in the final game that they needed, right? The concern, the worry that Izzo was blunt about at the beginning of the year wound up biting him at the end, even though they had some good play at times. And Jordan Scott was a revelation. And he has an intriguing piece moving forward because I think if certain parts of his game come together, he has a chance to be a star given his length and all that stuff. He could be a really, really great player. And he's already very good at in certain elements. And that helped save that. And I don't say paper over it, but but then he wore down a little late. And Kurt Tang had some moments, but not moments in the last game that they really needed him. And then you had a guy like Trey Fort had some moments in the NCAA tournament and did have a 3 in the last game, but had some struggles too. And you could see the the hero ball side of him coming out. He took 1 3 in that first half, and you could just see it on Izzo's face. Like, that's the 3 he hasn't been taking when they needed a great shot, and they weren't hitting anything. So I understand from a certain point, but he kind of took the ball and rose up over a defender early in the shot clock, and it was like, wait a sec, that's the thing that didn't get you playing for a long time. They couldn't trust that. But again, he's in a different moment. He's trying to save the team, but they didn't have that guy this year, and you got to make sure. And the shooting guard was that position. I don't think it'll be that position next year, but the 5 position could be, and they got to make sure that you're not in the same spot, because you can't, you can't have the same conversation at the end of every year where you're just a guy short. And yeah, it's too bad they didn't redshirt Carson Cooper. It's too bad that certain timings of things haven't been perfect, but it's rarely perfect. A lot has come together. If Jeremy Fears doesn't get shot, I gotta be careful here. I'm just saying his career might have gone. Career might have gone different. I don't know if he's still around. You know what I mean? So it's Mateen Cleaves doesn't hurt his back in a rollover accident. They never win a national championship because he's probably a pro earlier.
Are you implying we should thank the Fear shooter?
No. Okay. We're going to fix that.
Well, I had to ask.
No.
Because you're saying if he didn't get shot, then he would have left. So then getting shot means he stayed. So then, okay.
That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not, yeah.
Thanks, Fear shooter, wherever you are.
Nope, we're not doing that.
You're probably with Savannah Guthrie's mom.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Still haven't found her. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Should we you got more? You want to dig in? Should we dig into these listener takes?
It is crazy though. Savannah Guthrie's mom's been missing that long, and then she's like back and doing a promo thing for it, and where they had to tease it.
Yeah,
it was pretty wild. Like, okay, wait. So you teased it on a Wednesday so it could air on Thursday and Friday for a woman that is kidnapped still, who's out there kidnapped for ratings, when you could have just aired it on the Wednesday or whenever you got it edited.
What do you think we would do for ratings? Like if
what do you mean?
Well, if you went missing, I would still do this show, and we would do interviews.
It would make
about
sense.
It.
Yeah. I would hope you would.
Yeah.
Go on with the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd offer a ransom too. We'd get Muskox together and Groovy Donuts, and we'd be like, "What can we do?"
Right. I would be so scared about that. Like the kidnappers would ask for like $50,000. It'd be like, we have $500. For Jason.
No, I'm telling you, Muskox right now would rally together. These guys at Muskox, they've donated over $100K to the Alaska Wildlife Conservancy. These guys at Muskox, good people, good Americans, great product. They would rally for you in Muskox
and will save you from a kidnapper.
And save you from a kidnapper. Go Muskox.com, Peacock for $15 off a flannel purchase.
Muskox.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel I have more confidence now.
Yeah.
Eric Schultz up first. Number 1, those damn slow starts. And 2, I'm expecting McCullough and Ugachukwu to transfer, and if I'm Izzo, I don't try overly hard to keep those 2. Tang, I'd love back, but resource-wise, how much do you pay a junior who will be your third 2 guard in the rotation? Everyone else is a priority to bring back.
Yeah, Ugachukwu, I mean, again, I don't know where his head is. He did get injured. You don't know if somebody's having a great time, if they want to compete for something. I don't know. But my hunch would be if you had me rank the guys that I would be surprised if they came back, or least surprised if they left, I should say, Ugachukwu would be number 1 on that. McCullough I'm very curious about because he has a clear opportunity here. He redshirted, I think I'm sure I don't know. I'm curious where his head is, but with Kurt Tang, it's interesting because the value of him is he is actually like a pure shooter. And I've talked before about the difference between guys who can make shots and guys who are shooters, and there's a shooter and there's a difference. Like he's not a guy who can make threes; he's a guy who's a shooter. Like you just see it. There's a purity to his shot, and there's great value in him. But again, what do you have? How much do you spend? This is where football helps because it funds everything outside of men's basketball. But it also hurts. Like you hear Josh Schertz not taking the NC State job in part because they've got $10 million in rev share at St. Louis. So if you're at a non-football school and you opt into and you're going to play by the rules under the cap, you've got up to $20 million that doesn't have to go to football. And so they can legitimately, they don't have to circle the wagons. They don't have to find some, they don't have to bring Muskox in and say, look, we need a massive sponsorship with Jeremy Fears in the center. They can just pull it right out of the rev share and pay. At these schools of football, it's harder to do. That's why the whole system's kind of screwy now. But I'm curious what Tang does because when you start to look at the roster, where Jordan Scott fits, where Cohen Carr fits, where Caleb Glenn fits, what the lineups may look like, and you bring in Josiah Jervis, who's, supposed to be a ready-to-go guy who's going to play. I'm very curious.
Dominic up next. This was the worst weekend of my life. Worse than the 72-hour wait for the STI results after being dumped by the W word. MSU basketball was eliminated. MSU hockey was eliminated. Tigers got shut out. Red Wings essentially killed themselves. Google says Christy Winter Scott is happily married. Thanks a lot, Couch. Well, why didn't you tell him she was married?
I didn't know. I've not done research on her life. I don't know her relationship. What are we going to ask? Are you happily married?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, for your friend.
Yeah,
Dominic.
I like Dominic.
Thanks a lot, Couch, he says. I'm still sad about Friday night, and I'm still in utter shock over Saturday evening. How the hell do you lose that lead? How? And bonus, it's still effing March. Know what that means? That's Jake Hawkins recommending Breaking Bad 49 times until non-Tiger sports return. Likely sandwiched around a double Michigan natty. Kill me.
You need Arizona. Do some work.
Yeah.
I think the Frozen Four is less likely for Michigan hockey just because of who else is there. But it's, I don't think Michigan's maybe the third best team there. But yeah, in basketball, we'll see. The Arizona game is big if your psyche is tied to that. Yeah, it was a bad weekend. The Red Wings are phenomenal. I mean, I did this talk about a choke job over time. I don't even know what's going on there. The Tigers is a pretty good start overall. But look,
the last two games is not hitting that well. But yeah,
it's a baseball. Yeah, it's early.
It's early on.
That's what it is. Yeah, sorry, Tom.
Yeah, tonight 10-10 against the Diamondbacks. S.J. Davidson, what a horrible weekend for my birthday to fall on. Not hot take. Adam Nightingale is the hockey version of James Franklin. Great recruiter and season, shits the bed in the postseason. Changed my mind.
Well, he's won 5 of the 6 Big Ten titles you can win in 3 years. And James Franklin won 0 in 10 years. That would be the difference. Pretty significant difference. And I understand, somebody when they pointed this out, brought up the idea that, there are 18 teams in the Big Ten. There weren't for all of those years. And the difference, Michigan hockey, and there's some teams that are down, certain years or whatever, but Michigan hockey would be Big Ten hockey is like eliminating the bottom 8 teams, or most of them, from Big Ten football. It's a tough league to win. So, and hockey is different than football. There are just so many more data points within a game, and it happens at the line of scrimmage. Michigan State hockey, if this were football, would have been to the Frozen Four last year and this year. That's the difference. It's a different sport. It's now, did they screw this one up? Choke is a strong word, but they definitely stopped playing how they were. They definitely got in their heads to some degree. They stopped being the team they were that had taken control of that game. And that's on them, 100%. But, first of all, Adam Nightingale is done for MSU hockey. I guess Franklin did some good things getting MSU or Penn State football back going a little bit, but some of that was in motion. I just don't. I think that the Big Ten titles are
we talking people want Nightingale fired?
No, nobody's saying that.
Okay.
Because you have to be insane. If you want, did people not just see the last Big Ten? I think it's fair to be frustrated as an MSU fan because it was on there, but no, and I have not seen one person say Adam Nightingale should be fired. And if you do, don't listen to this show. Don't, because we just don't need, or don't chime in.
I just saw Jay Riemenschneider tweet about that. He said Nightingale needs to be fired.
The last decade of hockey Jay. Before him was
Graham's rule.
Do we not see how that worked? It's not. This isn't. What they've done has been remarkable, and now they have this bugaboo that's a thing, and you can't have that happen and not be a thing. The first year when they lose to Michigan was probably better than them talent wise when they lost in that regional final. That game Michigan controlled a lot of that game. Michigan State was the 1 seed, but last year was I think there were some flaws in the roster in certain places, but they were just timid. They blew that lead, and yeah, it was bad. But that's 1 year, and it happens, whatever. But when it happens a second year, this is really the second year it's happened, and they were, and I understood why they were a little nervous in that first opener. You have to evaluate, and again, you can't put so much on this that you spend all year waiting for it, because then it's likely to happen again. You have to live your life, build the program, win titles, focus on, the GLI and the Big Ten and everything. You have to do what you do because you can't live life that way, and it won't help your team. But when you do get to this point, you do have to reassess that. You got to make sure you don't make the mistakes you made again. It's still hockey. Still get screwed. It's still a horrible format. The people who decide the format absolutely deserve that in their tombstone, or at least their obituaries, to be the lead. But it's not you have to do what the difference here is. Michigan State did not do their part. They had it on their sticks, and they blew it.
Andrew Gauthier next. If MSU Hoops converts half of their misses inside of 8 feet Friday night, they beat UConn by 10. I know they were disconnected, but the number of missed layups, baby hooks, and floaters was absolutely egregious.
There was a finger roll by Fears where he got down the lane and it hit the back. And I remember thinking right then, I was like, that was the moment I thought they were going to lose. And it was like, and I think Fears was stunned it went out, and it's one of those days. And there's no doubt that they could have won that game. And there's no doubt that, the beginning of it, though, wasn't just missed shots. And they were like, they weren't getting the shots they usually get. And their offense, it was like 15 minutes into the game when there was a pick and roll alley-oop to Carson Cooper. That was the first half-court offensive possession they looked like themselves in the entire game. So some of it was they weren't getting what they usually get, and I think that was part of it.
David Jackson, all we have left are the Tigers. I swear, Friday and Saturday were the worst days ever. Even the Red Wings lost. Screw it. Just screw it all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well,
I mean, the Masters are next week.
That helps.
I mean,
yeah.
And the Tigers are playing.
Yeah, the thing about the Masters,
Gognagle looks great.
This is what cracks me up about college hockey and these bozos who run it. They don't want to go head-to-head with the Final Four in basketball. We're playing, an extra weekend and having home sites and all that stuff. But then they want to go head-to-head with the Masters. You know what no MSU fan is watching next weekend during the Masters after what happened with MSU hockey? The Frozen Four. Neil Koepke will be the only one who will be out there. Neil Koepke will watch college hockey. Everybody else is going to watch the Masters. You think the Masters isn't more popular than the freaking Final Four? You think the regional finals this week with the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 aren't every bit as watched and big a deal when there are more games? Like, you're going to go head-to-head with the Masters? I'm sorry. That's you fucking idiots. Just morons. All of them.
Nate, you don't get this, the high sports can bring. What the fuck? Nate, you don't get the high sports can bring without going through the lows. But when all the lows hit at once and your rival is thriving, it's a kick in the nuts. F this weekend.
I think that's pretty well said. I mean, the Michigan component is absolutely there. This would have been brutal either way. Middle Tennessee State hurt like hell, but that was different because that team people thought had a chance. I don't think people thought this basketball team was going to win it all. They just could have had a different path if they didn't blow the UCLA game.
Can we get that feeling back next year, though? Like, I want that feeling, like, oh, man, we should have won it all. Like,
or just win it all, right.
Well,
right.
Yeah, but I'm saying you have to have that feeling as well, like going in knowing. I don't like knowing, like, oh, if we make it the Sweet 16 and lose, it's still a great season. I hate that.
Well, the Michigan component is definitely a big part of this because Michigan hockey isn't any better than Michigan State hockey, but they're still alive, right? And again, they tried to throw away the game the same manner. They just got that fourth goal that Michigan State didn't. The Wisconsin hockey coach said that. I asked him bluntly. I said, where could you feel it turn? He goes, it's when they didn't get the 4-1, and there was still this. They say that in soccer, like the 2-goal lead's the most dangerous lead, and they still had an outside shot. It's the Michigan component.
Was that
of it,
supposed to make us feel better?
No, I don't know if there's anything.
I don't know.
The only thing that can make you feel better right now is going to gomuskox.com and picking your best flannel and looking your best and feeling your best.
Alex Myers next. Fears and Carr have to become regular 3-point threats. If not, you can't play with them. Play them with Ward. It packs everything in too close. The roster construction this offseason is going to be really interesting to watch.
Well, if everybody comes back who can come back, and again, I don't think it will happen, but then the only real construction they're going to add to me is a 5, and need to add is a 5. It's lineups after that, and it's if you have the player that I think and the shooter that Jordan Scott can be, the player and shooter that Kurt Tang is, you bring in a freshman who's what I would do if you want to feel good about yourself, because this is, you go watch Josiah Jervis games. Don't watch, highlights will make you feel better. Highlights are dangerous. One of the things you don't want to do too much when you're evaluating like an incoming freshman is just watch their highlight tapes, because you could put a mixtape together, and me and Jason, and be like, holy crap, that guy's going to contribute, right? It's better to watch a full game, and you can find them out there on YouTube, because then you can watch when they don't have the ball. You can watch their body language. You can watch their defense. You can watch how they make plays for other people. And that's where, like, Jervis is just, he's really, really good. And I think he'll be a very good player for them right off the bat. But again, you do have, one of the advantages is of having a guy like Caleb Glenn and Scott, the two other guys who would play the 3 in place of Carr when he's, and so when Carr's on the floor, who's your 4, who's your shooter, one of the so they got a couple guys who can hit shots at that 3 spot. Cohen Carr, not necessarily hasn't been there, although he was 35% in the back half of the season. We'll see what Jeremy Fears gets to. We'll see if a guy like, Jesse McCullough comes back, because there's a guy who can stretch a defense when he's in the game. But you're right. There are times that they have not put the lineups together that I think are always the best for them. But that said, this year's team was a very clear top 4 guys at the end of games, and you were probably going to have Jordan Scott in there, and sometimes that they weren't hitting shots. Next year's team, I think, will have a lot more options. I don't think it's as clear going in.
Do you think Izzo might pull an Underwood and go to Europe?
And get a guy?
Get a big from Europe, like the next Jokic.
Yeah, no,
who's the next Jokic here who likes horse racing?
Every team should have an assistant who just lives in Europe.
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely. You talk about that's affordable. Like, that costs a lot less than, and you're still going to have to pay for those guys. But, it's a $400 a grand job, and you live in Europe, which is fantastic. I would do that job, actually, to live in Europe and just scout guys and make relationships over there. MSU women's basketball has that to some degree. I mean, they didn't live in Europe, but like they brought over a couple guys because of relationships and things like that. A couple of women, I should say. Sorry.
Spartholomew, sad and sickening take, but I'm convinced Izzo will never get number 2 unless he goes all in on the portal guys that don't give a F about him as a coach and the program. These guys start griping because there's too much of a father-son relationship with him, and they're not emotionless killers.
But again, like, let me ask you this. If they had redshirted Carson Cooper, and they didn't, so ifs and buts, candies and nuts, whatever the thing is. But, like, if they had, and everybody came back, they would literally need nothing out of the portal. They're that close to pulling off what he wants to do. Now, they didn't do it, so they have to do that. But so all in on portal guys is now we'll see who leaves. And, right, if people who leave have to be replaced, there are guys who, if they leave this team, leave holes on this team, and you would have to go replace them and fix that. And but yeah, I mean, they've got to do that at the 5. There's no doubt, unless there's something. I mean, because the problem is, just from a numbers game, I don't think they have enough there. And if Ethan Taylor and you can believe all that you want in the future of Ethan Taylor and Jesse McCullough, but if they're not ready, then that's on you, and then there's nothing you can do about it. This isn't like there's a mid-January transfer window like there is in soccer where you could fix it. If there were, I mean, that's the one argument for the January thing, would be like, hey, we think this is actually good enough. But if it's not, we'll go fix it in January. And you don't have that. You got to be right at the beginning of the year. I do think Cam Ward, in certain matchups and the way he rebounds, we'll see sometime at the 5, and they will go small and be dangerous, because I think there are lineups, and obviously it depends who they bring in, and it depends who they're playing. But, if you want to get Jervis and Scott and Carr and Glenn, if you want to have 3 of those 4 like on the floor, and you want Cam Ward, like, you can just do the math. Like, you're gonna have. I think there's some opportunities to go small and interesting. Doesn't mean they don't have to bring in a 5.
Patty Eves next. Fully understand that they're college kids and they're allowed to live their lives, but it's interesting to see which MSU athletes go straight to Fieldhouse after bad losses. Hint: it's never Jeremy Fears or Jordan Hall.
So there's a photo popping around the internet of a few of the guys.
I saw Ugo.
Yeah,
Ugo was out.
It's Cohen Carr. It's Kurt Tang.
Right.
What do you expect these guys to do?
You got to show your face after a loss too, right?
But
go into hiding, or
what are you going to just sit there and sulk? And I mean, these are college kids, and they've just played a brutal season. in which they were yelled at constantly by their coaching staff. I would want to have one. And what do you? I understand people are frustrated by that because I've seen that reaction. That is just dumb. Like that, people are not. People should be allowed to live their life. People can feel two ways. Two things can be true. Cohen Carr can wish they won more, can be frustrated by it. They can think, boy, that would, and then they can also be like, man, I need a beer. And they can have a conversation with a smile. And those things, and I don't get the frustration with that. If you want these guys to live, and remember, fandom is mental illness, and playing college basketball is not. So they're not going to feel like you do. They're going to feel differently, and they have something they can do about it, working in the off season, right? They're not going to feel exactly how you do.
Is that what they call this, mental illness?
Oh, this is everything.
It feels like it.
Yeah,
a lot of times, yeah. Dave Lakin, next. Number 1, MSU had a very good season. However, the game against UConn went just like we saw in similar big games. Slow start, ferocious comeback, key players stepping up, and freshmen playing like deer in headlights. Izzo needs to get next year's freshmen ready sooner for March. And 2, key stats for the UConn game. Scott, 23 minutes and 5 points. Ward, 19 minutes and 2 points. Tang, 20 minutes and 0 points. A total of 6 bench points for MSU. In other games Friday night, Illinois got 18 and Iowa got 38 from their benches. Our bench was supposed to be a strength.
I don't know if it was supposed to be a strength. It was supposed to be helpful, though, more than this. Last year's bench was a strength. I do think, it's 100% hurt them. And it was interesting, Izzo, after the game, was a little puzzled by, I think he was surprised that they started poorly, that they looked nervous, because I don't know how else you get guys ready for big games. They played huge games. They played Kentucky at Madison Square Garden, right? They played Duke. They played Michigan twice. Like, they played in big settings. They did play a lot of home games. And next year they go to Arkansas, and that's very early. UConn is an exhibition at home. They played at UConn in an exhibition. Like, they sort of, I think the UConn exhibition, I've thought about this a little bit. I don't want to say it backfired because I think they knew what they were up against, but I think knowing what they were up against, they felt outclassed early against UConn, and so that created an air about UConn, I think. That's the only thing I can think of because they did not look like themselves at all at the beginning of that game.
Shot of boots next. MSU's coaches need a post-mortem on these slow starts. 2 years in a row, it's been an issue. When the team is in rhythm, they look great. Then they come out the gates with zero rhythm, and it's a train wreck. It's a fatal flaw, and the coaches first need to acknowledge it, address it, and fix it, or we're never going to win 6 tournament games in a row.
Yeah, it's hard to do. UConn just had a really bad start and came back and won it, and so they're going to happen. But
did that happen to them throughout the season? Like, it was a theme throughout Michigan State's season of getting slow starts.
You see the number on Duke. They've lost like 4 games in the last calendar year, and they've all had 13-point leads in all of them. But you got to be really good to have 13-point leads in every game you've ever played. But they just got to. They'll be a different team next year. They've got to be a different team. They've got to, and certain guys have to grow in it. Like Fears, there's another level for him. Cohen Carr, we saw late in this year, sort of discover that it doesn't matter who the matchup is. He can get into the teeth of the defense and cause problems, and that he needs to be that all the time. There's growth still even for their top guys, and some of that, sweat equity pays off. But yeah, it's I don't know how you fix how do you fix a slow start? I guess I would urge a coach to call in. Like, what is the mental? Maybe you can get a psychiatrist in with Izzo on the slow starts and Nightingale on the NCAA tournament, and just spend some time. I guess spend some time.
Peasy, unpopular opinion, Izzo overachieved with this group. I'm with everyone else. Get a legit portal big and drive internal growth, and it could be a special group next season. And bonus, Tottenham fired a guy after a month. Guess who was the only coach who couldn't beat him?
Arne Slot, Liverpool. By the way, I was kidding with the psychiatrist. That didn't come across as sarcasm the way I wanted.
It really didn't.
No, I just apologize. It's not. Anyway, look, if they get a 5, just think of next year's team with Cooper. If they get that level player,
$5 million.
It doesn't cost you $5 million.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah, because you don't want to
throw the offer out. Who's the $5 million big? Let's do it. Let's start the game show.
Do you go get a guy who would otherwise pull him out of the draft? A guy who was going to go to the draft?
Why
otherwise?
not?
Yeah,
it's $5 million. Who wants it?
Muskox. Yeah.
One-on-one tournament. Dan Grafe. MSU losing to UConn wasn't a shock. Hurley might be the best coach in the country. MSU losing in hockey was shocking and should hurt more. They had the most talented team in the country and the best goalie. And bonus, Graham tried tweeting about college tennis to distract MSU fans from what Michigan did yesterday.
So as soon as I tweeted, I thought about that. Like it was not the intention. Like MSU tennis has been. I mean, I've written about them. They've done a real concerted effort through NIL.
Couldn't tell sarcasm with that.
Yeah, through NIL to build the program with with some incredible players, and they had 2 top 25 wins over USC and UCLA. And I had gotten a text from a donor who's helped build that, and I checked out the score. I was like, and I tweeted out. And then I was like, yeah, it does. But, we choose what we like. Why do we like football and basketball? Tennis, French Open's coming up, then Wimbledon. That shit's better than any of this stuff. It's our fault. It's our mental illness that likes this other stuff. Tennis is where it's at, man. But no, it's a fair point.
Jay Riemenschneider could have beat UConn, should have beat Duke, would have beat Michigan. At some point, you got to get it done, and MSU never did. Some years, you're just not at the level of the tip-top teams, and every program goes through that. Yeah, Magic Johnson tweet?
Yeah.
Oh, Jay.
Jay is magic. Did you know
yeah.
that? That would be amazing if Jay was a magic burner.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. Like they weren't. We saw the same game play out. They were a player away. And it's up to Michigan State, it's up to the coaching staff to make sure they are not a player away next year. Things can go wrong. You can have an injury that derails things. Duke had that. Other teams have had that. It happens. But you got to put yourself in a position where that's not the story.
GGGW next. I don't think one thing has gone MSU's way since Jay Batt took over. Coincidence?
100% a coincidence. No, don't think.
Fire Jay Batt.
So Jay Batt was at the hockey. He was at the basketball. He was.
Tell him to stop going. He's bad luck, apparently.
GGGW is concerned here.
W stands for whore. Janet in Plymouth, in a weekend interview with the New York Post, St. John basketball's billionaire backer, the man who created vitamin water, said, quote, "If Patino called me at 2:30 in the morning and said, I need $1 million for this guy, I'm going to send him the money before he wakes up, because that's how much trust and faith I have in him." Does Izzo have any mega boosters like that? And if we do, how did NC State outbid us for Trey Holloman?
He does have
get some vitamin water.
He does have people who will pay for this, and they're more than that. I mean, there are some serious people who are willing to and have been, and I think it is one of those things where Izzo has to make sure he is. I understand why he worries about culture and locker room dynamics in terms of, like, if Jeremy Fears is making this, if Carson Cooper's making this, if Cohen Carr and Jackson Kohler are making this. And Trey Holloman then comes in and says, yo, I need this, and it's substantial. There's an issue there. I get that.
Let me call my vitamin water guy, Trey.
That made this year a little trickier. Next year is not as tricky. 2 of those guys are graduating. So your core 4, you lose 2. 2 are coming back. One of them is an All-American, an All-Big Ten first-team selection. That's Jeremy Fears. So there's a clear, even pecking order of that. Cohen Carr is an important player, but Cohen Carr has a great understanding of himself. He talked a lot about wanting to be a 4-year guy. Cohen Carr understands he's not a pro right now. And by the way, Cohen Carr, whether he becomes an NBA pro or not, because of his how entertaining he is as a dunker and everything like that, that guy is going to make gobs of money in Europe if it doesn't work out. Because
a cold day in hell before I give up on Cohen Carr.
Every owner in Europe, every owner of a team is like, that is a guy that can pack the house. He is going to do fine in life. And Cohen Carr,
be like Red Panda over there. He just dunk at half times. What do you mean?
No, he's going to play. He'll be a player. But what I mean is, and Cohen Carr is also the type of kid, one of the nicest people I've ever covered, one of my favorite people ever to cover, that I would say will do well in Europe in terms of culturally enjoying it. And if the NBA does not happen for him, and he is not on an NBA path right now, and I'm not saying there isn't a possibility for it, but if it doesn't happen to him, his life is going to be fantastic. I would kill Jason for Cohen Carr's life in his 20s coming up. Sorry.
How are you going to do it? How'd you kill me? Just make it fast.
I'd probably just overfeed you groovy donuts till your blood sugar spike.
That's worth everything then.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as you do a live read after I kick it. Trey Rice. Izzo has longevity stats. Not that impressive when broken into 5-year windows. If he was at the true blue blood program, he would have been fired years ago. Final Fours and to some degree Elite Eights are so overrated by MSU fans, it's sickening. Shit, Juwan Howard took Michigan to an Elite Eight, LOL. And bonus, a few weeks ago, someone asked why Michigan fans would ever listen to this show. This episode is why.
100%. There are tons of Michigan fans listening right now. This is, as much as Michigan State fans are suffering through this and trying to find therapy and everything, Michigan fans are enjoying this. This
Makes
is the
sense.
Yeah, no, like I said, this is mental illness. The whole thing is mental illness. Understand that. It's a good mental illness. It's better than like religious warfare, right? 100% better than that. It's better than a lot of the other things that are mental illness in this country. I wouldn't say it's a healthy mental illness, but it's one that's not harmful most of the time. But that's why, everybody's in for Michigan fans will be in on this. And to Trey's first points, and Trey is a Michigan fan, like it's incredibly impressive from what they came from. Michigan State went to a Sweet 16 in 86 with Skiles, in 90 with Steve Smith, lost in the first round in 95. And then Izzo took over from that. And, he won a national title 5 years later, and he's kept the program in the NCAA tournament every single year. I mean, they used to go to NITs. Michigan's been NITs. Michigan's missed the thing entirely. I mean, like, I understand that it's people say Final Fours aren't that. It's fine. If
How is Final Four not impressive?
it's impressive as shit. Look,
I don't get that. I get that if you don't like Izzo, but come on, for real.
Adam Nightingale can't get there right now. He would kill for a Final Four, Frozen Four. Like it is impressive. I understand it's only 4 wins. You can get matchups that work in your favor. It is impressive. It is the pinnacle of the college game outside of winning the national title. And Final Four should be celebrated. It's one of the great things that the college game has. This is just Trey giving people shit. And sometimes, and I'm not saying Trey falls in this, but sometimes Michigan fans don't really understand basketball culture. I mean, they had the Fab Five. They have had some good stuff, but they live in football, so they don't understand like Big Ten titles in the regular season. This is what Final Fours feel like. This is where your entire self-worth is tied up to as a fan. They don't really understand that, and so they come in and out, and then they have takes like this.
Means next. For all those sicko scum slappies listening to hear MSU's pain, know my budgeted funds for the Frozen Final Four are now going to AC/DC pit tickets in Mexico City. All 50,000 fans are going to win on those Angus Young solos with the MGs and Mezcal flowing. It's gonna effing rule. Y'all never win without NIL.
Well, they won quite a bit. I mean, the Beeline era was pretty damn good. The
AC/DC in Mexico City, hell yeah, dude.
Talk about kidnapping and need the Muskox flannel. You're gonna need some definite. What's the word?
What's that?
When you get kidnapped and you need
Savannah Guthrie's mom?
No, what's the word? I'm blanking on the word. My brain is fried.
Ransom.
Ransom. Thank you.
Jesus.
Muskox ransom. I don't know where that went.
Ransom?
I lost it.
Cockburn.
All right. John Johnson, MSU runs always feel special because we are the underdog. So each Elite Eight or Final Four typically involves beating a team that's favored over us and then losing the Final Four to a team that's better than us, so we accept it. Is Izzo too in love with being the underdog? In bonus, last week I asked if Izzo's media tour would look silly after the fact if we lost to UConn. Whoa, Jesus. Whoa, sorry. Now that that has happened, it does sort of seem silly. He was acting vindicated about his team, and yet it seemed like fool's gold all along.
I don't know if he was acting. He does these tours every year. He loves being in the second weekend. He's accessible.
And Tom Izzo likes talking more than anyone I've ever met, other than my wife, possibly. And so, like, why wouldn't he do this media tour if people are going to ask him and you say yes to all these things?
Do you think Therese talks too much? Is that what you're saying?
No, but she talks for, like, her job. Like,
I see. Yeah.
No. I'm saying, but Tom, I don't like talking as much as T or Tom Izzo likes talking.
Right.
Don't try to get me in trouble.
I'm sorry. That was mean.
I see what you're trying to do there. Don't do that to me. I'm just saying, I can't imagine talking that much.
I think Izzo likes winning a little bit as the underdog. I don't think he loves being the underdog. I think he loved years like 2014 and 2018 when he thought he had the goods. Now, he didn't get the most out of it in either year, but I think he prefers that.
Spartan Frank next. Enough about this group will be remembered for what? Not getting blown out by Michigan, beating a shorthanded 6 seed by 10. Well, remember Kohler and Cooper, and it was great to see that they have such strong ends to their careers, but this is ultimately a forgettable season. And bonus, if Arizona can't get it done, it's a wrap, and we have to prepare for a second apocalypse of the last few years. Truly the least deserving scum in college athletics.
I think the Michigan point of this is dragging down the vibes. Like if Michigan did not exist, and Michigan wasn't in this place where 2 years ago they were in shambles, and now all of a sudden it's working. Like people would be upset, but it wouldn't be just like, this.
I'm not talking about Michigan.
And because frankly, if winning 27 games and getting to a Sweet 16 is not memorable at any point or worthwhile or worth whatever, like it's just a forgettable season. Life's gonna suck. Like I would give up on these sports. Like embrace Division II sports, embrace the theater, do something else, man. I'm not saying but find something else, because this is going to be a long haul.
It wasn't a season to remember, though.
Isn't that
offensive to say it's a forgettable season? Like, yeah, there was.
So how many seasons to remember actually are there then? What seasons do you remember?
I mean, that's tough. Don't ask me. My memory is terrible.
Like forgettable.
Literally from 2010, it's just all a blur. I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I'm so envious of people that can just recall things like all that. I have no idea. Just 2010s were a blackout session. Yeah. Austin Wolf, me and Tiger Woods apparently. Austin Wolf, number one, everyone wants to question MSU sports for not getting over the hump this weekend, but what do they want? Total portal, no portal. Doesn't matter if we lose the fan bases. College sports are gone. Education no longer matters. Zero agreement on transparency or legislation. And two, good news for both stances is none of this is sustainable, and private equity firms could be buying out athletic departments. So regardless of the side of the fence you're on, there's a change coming.
There's a good chance this is a bubble. There's a really good chance we fast forward 5 years, people are like, holy shit, whoa, that didn't work. Like, it'll be interesting to see what right now.
But that has to happen so it corrects itself, right?
Yeah, well, there's a lot, yes.
So,
I mean, I am
pretty much guaranteed to happen.
I am rooting for a correction. Not that I don't want players to get what's theirs to a degree, and not that I don't want. But I want there to be some common sense in college sports, and I want to make sure it's something that people at a lot of different fan bases can enjoy. I want to make sure it's something that, like, I do not think over the course of time, and I'm talking generations here, that if you are just buying rosters year over year, that fans are going to connect the same way, and if they don't connect, they won't stay connected. They won't give. The money won't be there. The college sports will not exist in 20, 30 years the way it does now. It just won't. I don't see a way it happens. If I'm wrong, and all the
aren't the ratings insane for both college football and basketball
right now, and that's what gives the Yahoo, not the Yahoo.com, but the Yahoo national writers who all want to say, well, look at that, it's great, it's the best ever. That gives them this. They're like, there's this moment where if you're not that deep with analysis and you can't see it, and if you live in this national world where every story is you're searching for relevance, and you see the big games, yes, I get it. I get right now it looks like it. I'm telling you flat out that 20 years from now, if this is the path, none of this stuff will exist the way it looks. Not even close. Jason, do you think that Bill Beekman?
When Yoda and Beeks there. I saw Bill Beekman on Friday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where was he at?
The Midnight Tavern.
Nice.
Yeah, we blazed at halftime, apparently. I saw him. I swear to God I did. Poplowski's knee brace. I was way more gutted, by the hockey fuckoundery than the basketball loss. It was easy to chalk up an L for hoops early on, which leads me to a quote I love. Expectations are just premeditated resentments. Consider me resentful of the hockey squad.
That's a good quote. It is, yeah. And you feel bad for like Porter Mortone's playing with the Flyers right now. Like, he's fine, right? He's good. But there are a lot of guys who were a part of that, and I think Augustine will eventually be a pro and he'll be fine. But that's going to wake guys up at night. And some of those guys, the Shouties of the world, Daniel Russells, those guys, they're going to think about that for a long, long time. And it's a brutal. They didn't want this to happen. They screwed it up, and they know it. And I was in the elevator coming back up before overtime with Brad Fast, who was on that staff, because those guys are up top and near where the press is. And and I didn't say anything to him because it was just like, you could just tell it was tense. It was a bad moment. But you just felt bad that they had it on their stick. They had it. I mean, I even wrote in my notes when they scored the third goal. I think I wrote something like Vegas, boom, or something like that. And then it didn't happen, so maybe I am the jinx. I apologize.
So wait a minute. So were you in the elevator first, and then he walked in?
So the way it works in that arena, it's like a minor league arena in Worcester. It looks a lot like, it has a lot of similarities to where Penn State plays basketball. Not a great atmosphere place. But there's a giant elevator, almost like a freight elevator, from the ground floor where the media room is, and the bathroom. Like if you need to go to the bathroom between periods, you're going down to the media room, so you're not standing in line. So you just take that elevator down, and that's.
So you guys didn't make eye contact. I mean, what would you have said at that? I mean, that would have been funny.
Tough break, huh? I don't know. Yeah,
after the third goal, I was like, boom, Vegas, right?
Don't blow this. Yeah. It's 3-3 now. It's close.
God. Original Dark Mantonio next. Men's basketball, hockey, and women's basketball to top it all off. Michigan is on cloud 9 right now, and MSU is in the depths of despair, and it's all intertwined in this bitter rivalry. Yes, Graham, sports fandom is a sickness that you just got to love. And bonus, it looks like you're finally about to break through to the next level, and then it's gone, and that's painful. But blowing that lead, you can't complain about the single-game elimination. 3 goals aren't random luck, and Wisconsin won the season series, so it's not an unreasonable result.
No, 100%. This wasn't some plucky underdog. I mean, I get that Michigan State has more pound-for-pound talent than Wisconsin, but Wisconsin beat them twice in Munn. Michigan State beat them twice in Wisconsin. Wisconsin at the beginning of the year looked like the best team in the country, and then they struggled for a while. They've got a seasoned coach who's been through it. They've been through it a little bit. Maybe that's a better path to NCAA tournament success. I don't know. But this is not the time. The single elimination thing 100% exists. Like it's not. You can't. Nobody should, like, if you're at the top of college hockey, you're like, well, you see, they gave up 3 goals. They had it. Why would we do that? No. That's still on your tombstone, man. Like you either fix this or you're a moron. But that said, this is not the time for Michigan State to bring that up, and it had nothing to do. Like, they should be in the Frozen Four.
Trick next. What are the chances Carr takes Cooper's role in the offense? Seemed like Izzo had to tinker with his offense more than he ever has to compensate for teams not guarding him on the perimeter.
Well, that's first of all, he made a fair number of threes late, 2 in the second to last game. But yeah, no, that's a good question. I don't know I don't know who their 5 is going to be, and how much 4 Carr will play, which I think will be a little more significant next year when you start to look at where the strengths of the team are. I think the key for Carr, though, is he is a guy who is he's not like a fluid, break you down dribble guy, and I don't think he's ever going to be that, and that creates some limitations. But he's a guy who can get to his spots, and one of his spots is in the lane with strength. The other spot is like in that elbow where he shoots that jumper, and if he can become like a high 30s, basically the last half of the season he was 35% from 3. If he can become a high 30s guy at a little more volume from 3, and again, I've talked about in practice, I've watched him make a zillion threes. Not like he can't shoot, but there's a difference in game shooting and practice shooting. If he can become that, it changes things for him. It changes things for his year. It changes how he's defended. Certainly Carson Cooper was defended like Tum Tum Nairn for a while, and that changed late in his career. And you watch the way that Jackson Kohler was guarded, and that helped MSU. The way Kurt Teng was guarded, that helped MSU because those guys, people feared their shot. And so they need, what would really help, certainly with Carr, is the people respected his shot.
Frank Vashner next. Number 1 this weekend was a shit sandwich, except for the Pistons. And 2, the Red Wings continue to wallow in their own piss and shit. Wow. 3, who in your mind from MSU hits the transfer portal? Caveat, will it be someone who people won't expect? And bonus, what in the hell was Caden Boozer doing trying to make a hero play in that situation when UConn had to foul? As someone who has helped coach basketball for the last decade, when shit you were taught as a kid gets forgotten, it pisses me off. I didn't care who won.
Yeah, I mean, if you just, obviously you need to throw it higher there, but yeah, you didn't need with 10 seconds to go. I don't even know if you needed to cross half court based on the time. Again, I was listening on the radio and watched the replay, but not specifically looking at the clock there, and so I want to be careful there. But yeah, no, look, Duke blew that. They had it. They had it in a lot of different ways. I thought they were going to win it because Boozer hit 2 shots late. When he was at 23 points. His bucket to get to 25 and to 27 were 2 enormous counters to what UConn was doing, and I thought they were going to win. He was unbelievable in that game, but that was a bonehead play. And to who transfers, again, more often than not moving forward, there will be somebody who's unexpected, and I think unexpected will stop being a thing, and that'll be a shame. This team, I don't think it'll be either of the 2 freshmen, and I don't think it'll be Fears or Carr. And outside of that, and it won't be Caleb Glenn because he's been redshirting and hurt. But outside of that, would anybody be a surprise to me? Am I missing somebody? I don't think so.
G.E. Miller, number one, Izzo undoubtedly needs to get a Big Ten caliber starting five from the portal, but he also needs help at the two. We don't know what Jervis will bring, and neither Ugo or Tang are currently starter-level scorers and defenders for a legit title contender. And two, a lot of false hopes of Coop coming back, but I don't see how the NCAA approves that. You could legit make a case for Jax, though, given that he was out for half a season with a broken foot, right?
Yeah, I think Kohler is ready to. These guys have been in the program 4 years. They don't want to stay in forever. I don't think. But
we didn't say forever. How about one more year?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
The Kohler case. I've done the math on it. It would be a tough case. Now it's not that there aren't situations out there where there aren't that much different. But he played like 21 games as a sophomore, and they should have redshirted him then. They should have redshirted probably Cooper the year before that. The one argument Cooper would have is he does not turn 22 until April 9th. So the lawsuit would be this, that if you can play your entire season under the age of 23, under the age of 22, like if you're still 21, that nobody can, check that. Fix that in post. Let's start over. Here we go.
We got it. You got it.
If you can play an entire season before you turn 23,
yes.
22, you still got eligibility remaining because he could play all of next year under the age of 23 at 22 years old, and there will be juniors and sophomores who will be 22 years old. He's a young guy. That would be the argument in a lawsuit I would make. They're not going to do it, but that would be the argument.
Matt, this team's ceiling was and always going to be an Elite Eight. The lack of combo guard and ball handlers really hurt us against UConn. Fears seemed gassed down the stretch, hitting from the front of the rim on shots he often makes. And bonus, if Izzo can get an above-average big, we'll be the team to beat next year.
I don't know about the team to beat, though, but they'll have a chance. Well, and I don't know if if college basketball will be this good. But what you want to be is in the situation that Arizona, Michigan, and Duke were in, where it felt like all year those were the three, right? You want to be whatever the group is. I think that's really all you can ask.
D-Rob, that was a John L. Smith level meltdown by the hockey team, but this team hadn't looked right for the last month. Lack of discipline on defense and constant penalties was their downfall. And from Munfield Keg, love the team and love the coach, but that hockey loss was a brutal soul-crushing loss. I hate to say it, but that is the type of loss that can stick with a team, coach, and program for a while.
100%.
And it shook me, and I'm not, someone that paid attention all year. I was watching it, was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and the only way to have it not stick with you is to go get to a Frozen Four next year, right? Is to fix it. But because otherwise, and it doesn't stick with you in the sense that you can't build or develop with it. Like again, next year's roster is incredible. You got the Philadelphia Flyers GM complimenting how you developed a very top prospect. That stuff's not going to change. Their opportunity is not going to change. But this was like when you talk about Augustine not getting there and some of the key role players, the Shouties of the world who had been so important to the rise. This is like the Cleaves group, losing in the Sweet 16 as seniors, and that's kind of the equivalent.
Chris, next. I agree that the NCAA has chosen the dumbest way possible to find the best hockey team, but how fucking hard is it to win 2 straight games? In the past 3 years, MSU has given up 8 goals total and scored 0 in the last 8 minutes of games they've been eliminated in. I trust you, Adam, but figure this shit out. And baked. MSU played a C-level game and was down 3 with 20 seconds left and the ball. This hurts more than seeing UConn in the Final Four, but I feel we beat them more often than not, just not that night. And twice baked. Sports suck. Why do I let college kids ruin my evenings? Maybe the monks have it right.
You got to find a good show right now. You got to order a Muskox flannel.
College kids? How about 35-year-old golfers? Like, holy shit. They'll break your heart, too, sometimes.
Yeah. Go muskox.com, and I'm telling you, you'll look good, you feel good. You'll forget for a minute, only for a minute maybe, but then you put it on, and when you walk to the mirror, you'll be like, man, I look good. Who cares about what these guys do? I look good. Like it's very hard for most of us to have that reaction to ourselves in a mirror, and there are certain angles where it'll still be tough, but a Muskox can cover a lot of those up. Go muskox.com, Peacock, for $15 off a Muskox.
Peacock?
A Muskox purchase. Look, this is the nature of it, though. This is why you're a true fan. This is why I question Premier League fans when they say they're fans and they're like 30-year-olds who chose a team when they're 25, because I don't believe you choose fandom. I believe it chooses you. And if you've chosen it, then you're not hurting or you're not feeling the real joy, because there's nothing better than, right, putting a team in your heart in the team's hand and winning with it. That you don't get the true joy without this.
Did you feel that we haven't heard that take in so long that you had to bring it back?
Yeah, I did.
As if it were original?
Yep.
Okay, I was just making sure. Max next. I have not seen it mentioned, but the Spartans were playing 4-on-5 on the third Wisconsin goal. Straybeck crashed into the boards and was injured before the goal. You can see him looking to the bench, wanting to get off, but with the puck deep in the zone, he couldn't. He was unable to take his man in front of the net, and he scored. Bonus. The best gut punch in comparison is MSU versus Georgia Tech. That game was in 1990. The Spartans had it. All we needed was a free throw from Steve Smith, who had already scored 29 points. He missed the front end of the 1-and-1, and Georgia Tech scored and sent it to overtime and went on to win.
I mean, and that still haunts Steve Smith. I did in the pandemic year when there was not a lot of sports. One of the first things I did was like immediately reach out for historical NCAA tournament runs when the NCAA tournament had been canceled. I talked to Kenny Anderson, who admits to this day, I mean, he knows that the shot was after the clock, foot on the line, all that stuff. And Steve Smith, the free throw drives him crazy. Like that was their chance to get to a Final Four in 90, and that was in the Sweet 16. But then Minnesota, who they'd beaten, a good Minnesota team, but not they would and that UNLV team that won it all would have been waiting for them. But getting to a Final Four and getting to play that UNLV team would have been big. That is the comparison. I think the MSU Georgia Tech game in 1990.
Bob in Fort Myers next. On the last show, you broke down some of the biggest Izzo recruiting what-ifs. One you overlooked. Just a few years ago, a 6'4", 200-pound guard at Bloomfield Hills, Brother Royce, John Blackwell. I think we're a Final Four team this year and last with Blackwell. Blackwell has 1 year of eligibility left. Any chance we nudge him to enter the portal with a do not contact, and he comes home?
Well, no, he's not going to do that to Greg Gard, but that was a miss. And so the thing about like what everybody wants from Izzo and what Izzo wants for himself to construct it as much as he can in the old way, he's so close. He's almost, but you got to be perfect. You can't miss on Blackwell when he's in your state, and you built your program by putting a fence around the state. Like that's, and I think it drives him nuts that he did the evaluation on that, right? That because, and that's going to happen from time to time, but if you had Blackwell on this team or in the program, now maybe you don't have Jace Richardson last year. Who knows? Like the whole thing's different. But it's like if you redshirt Cooper, if you have Blackwell, if you this and that, you're close to having the roster without having to use the portal. And Izzo's dream is to win another national title. Izzo's dream of dreams would be to have a roster that next year he did not have to get into the portal once. He might have transfers previously, and to like win a national title and be able to double barrel middle fingers at the portal for being able to do it truly his way. That's never going to happen, I don't think, because it just takes being so perfect. And nor should it have to happen. The portal is not evil. I think that's something that needs to be said sometimes. Like, I understand that you can have this idea that certainly building a roster year to year and this one-year mercenaries type idea and the lack of identity with the school, there are downsides to it, and there's overdoing it, I think, in terms of the true joy you get out of a team that is you have just no connection to. But, having a team that every year is, 4 freshmen, and I get the freshmen are getting squeezed out here, 4 freshmen, 6 returners, and 3 portal players does not lose your culture. You can supplement that way. That's building a roster like they do in pro sports with free agency and draft, and soccer and signing and all this stuff. That's okay. And this year, what is needed, we'll see who stays and goes. But what's clearly needed is a 5. So that is the assignment. And if you retain your own roster, which he talked about at that press conference after they lost to UConn, if you work on that and you make sure you have Jeremy Fears, Cohen Carr back, all the key guys, and then you go get a 5. And that is the assignment.
The urinal or portal.
Sparty Barb next. Pleading take. J-Bat, please take the player payment negotiations out of Izzo's hands. He needs to distance himself from the financial aspects of college basketball. Let the 80s office negotiate the player salaries. And appreciative take. Thank you, Trey Augustine, for turning MSU hockey into one of the nation's premier programs. You will be remembered as a Spartan great. 3 consecutive Big Ten titles is an elite accomplishment. Go Green.
Let's go Green. Go God.
Yeah. Look, it's Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, there are elite accomplishments here. There are things. It's just not the day to feel them. That's the thing, right? And that's the challenge. Now, to the pleading, take the player payment negotiations out of Izzo's hands. Izzo's got to be able to. They have a GM for this stuff. They have, they have that component. They have elements of the roster that are there. But Izzo also has to have his hands on everything. This is your roster. The buck stops with you. You've got to know how much money you have, who you're willing to go get, and that's never going to change. And Izzo's not going to let that happen. I mean, Izzo's just too powerful over there. I mean, I understand Jay Batt's the athletic director, but, Izzo is the most powerful man at the university in a lot of ways, and right or wrong, but that's what happens when you have a basketball coach who's done what he's done for 30 years.
Stephen Waite next. Number one, after being outshot nearly 2-1 by UConn and 18-5 in the third period alone by Wisconsin, the MSU Blue Line core needs a major overhaul. It should be the portal priority. And two, Jeff Lerg was a better Spartan goalie than Trey Augustine. Clutch play and natties matter. And three, MSU hockey is on a 20-year cycle for winning NCAA titles, 66, 86, and 2007. So the Spartans are on the clock in 2027. Thanks for all the excellent coverage and discussion. Go Green.
Appreciate you, Stephen.
Let's go Green. Go God.
I think Trey Augustine understood that. Trey Augustine in his locker after that game was so despondent. Like Trey Augustine wanted that. He committed to the program, as Nightingale said, at a time they had lost 16 straight games and Nightingale was a new coach. He comes in and he was a great goalie, but ultimately, and that was a bad bounce that I don't think anybody would have stopped. But he didn't get a chance to play in the final weekend ever. And that's going to crush him. I think it crushes Nightingale. Jeff Lerg is a great goalie. I'm not going to. I don't. The nuances of the position, I can't tell you who's better. But obviously, if you win a national title, that's something you can definitely claim on your accomplishments in an argument.
Adam, I'm 24 years old and was born and raised in East Lansing. Was in the Spartan marching band for 4 years and Spartan brass for 3. I get people's frustration over the Sweet 16 loss, but it's so annoying seeing idiotic fans melt down and say Izzo's washed. It was disappointing, but this year was not a disappointment. It was a step in the right direction.
And I love the perspective from somebody as young as you. I do. And the idea that Izzo is washed and all that, that's just mute the word washed, first of all, unless you're having trouble bathing. Mute the word washed on Twitter. Like, don't let that show up, because those people aren't. So-and-so's washed is Now, if it's done out of, I guess, to criticize it, it's fine. But there's no way Izzo's washed. Like, look at the rest of the Big Ten relative to him, and I'm sorry, he's not washed.
Why don't you write something?
The question for Izzo now is, will he take the next step and get the guy they need to get in the portal this year?
John Naughty next. One, I hope everyone who comes back or who can come back does come back for MSU basketball. I like this team and how they represent our school. And two, only 2 possessions transform all of the complainers and critics into enthusiasts. 2 possessions. Try to have perspective.
Yeah, and again, but can you build a roster that gives you a better chance in those 2 possessions? And things can go wrong in college basketball. Went wrong for Duke. The question is, can you, can you give yourself the best chance in those 2 possessions? That's all.
Seth Burrows next. Guys, now that State has exited all of the relevant pressing sports tourneys, Sparty fans are going to flock to this show in need of comfort and consoling. You 2 fine gentlemen will be the voice of reason over the coming weeks. Just imagine if Dusty May and or Brandon Naruto are holding national championship trophies. The views, streams, and listenership will explode. That means more money in your pockets for Muskox flannels, groovy donuts, and especially weed gummies for Jason. There's your silver lining.
Pain for you guys means it was better for them. That's not the way we're thinking. I do think Naruto and May holding national championship trophies. You talk about things that would grind the gears of the two of Izzo and Nightingale. That would do it. Beyond the fans, I think those 2 guys would. It would not be a good feeling.
Aiden's child next. Spartan fans should be content in celebrating successful seasons by their basketball and hockey teams, but instead remain invidious toward the dark force in Ann Arbor.
Well, this is what rivalries are, and this is what drives college sports: a hatred for another team. Right? This is understandable, and the idea that, I mean, in a perfect world, everybody's mature enough to just focus on their own thing, but that's just not how it works. It's not how, and that's not why college sports work. It's because it's because of rivalries. It's because you don't like them, and they're needling you about it, and it just drives. Yeah, the emotion of it, the insanity of it, is what makes this whole thing work.
Kyle Robeson next. MSU was the one of the only, if not the only team. What the fuck? MSU was one of the only, if not the only team in the tournament with all 5 starters beginning their career at MSU. They may very well be the last.
I think it could happen. It'll happen again in terms of teams that make the second weekend. It's just, it's more and more rare, and that can be okay. I don't think that's the end all be all. I do think, if you have a team, and I think it's hard to win with teams that don't have some carryover. Most of the top teams have guys. There's a blend. There's very few teams that have nobody, and it's just a completely new roster. And Michigan's not even that. Now, Michigan's key guys are, and they hit the jackpot with this. There's no question. About this. Let's take a really quick break, and we come back. More of your takes. Couch in the Rube, our Monday show, presented by Muskox Quality Flannels.
Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi. Sip on handcrafted cocktails or one of 46 beers on tap. Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with one awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at gomuskox.com, where Couch in the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com.
Please like and subscribe to the Couch in the Rube YouTube channel. Also, download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
Couch in the Rube, our Monday show, presented by our friends at Muskox Quality Flannels. Go muskox.com, where Couch in the Rube listeners can use a promo code PEACOCK for $15 off their flannel purchase. And if you're still listening to this show, heaven forbid, I think you probably need a Muskox flannel. Again, go muskox.com.
Peacock.
Ben Schulich next. Time to put things in perspective. This MSU team was picked to finish in the middle of the Big Ten. Instead, they spent all year around the top 15 and made it to the Sweet 16 for the second year in a row. First time MSU has done that since 2014. And program is trending up. Baked. Anyone else think Kurtang succumbed to the pressure Graham put on him by saying he had to hit 6 threes for MSU to win?
I didn't think about that. This is on me. I apologize. I didn't think about that.
And you're to blame for the hockey loss, too, because you were like already booking your thing for Vegas.
Oh, I booked Vegas weeks ago. I had to cancel.
See what I mean?
Yeah, no question. Yeah, no disaster.
Boom,
yeah.
boom, Vegas, boom. Oh, annoying. Sunshine Spartan, #1, following up on Groovy Donut Experience. My wife named your show, and that's when they gave the free donuts.
Beautiful.
Wow, one time, thank God.
Respect.
Yeah. 2, Tigers might actually win the division this year. And 3, the worst case scenario, Scum makes Final Four. We'll definitely not be watching.
I think there are a lot of people like that. They're just hoping to see the score and that they didn't win it, and they don't. It's just not good for your mental health.
You know what's better for your mental health, though?
What's that?
Throwing a Hyundai on Arizona.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So here's an argument, though. So if you pull up the Firekeeper's iCasino and Sportsbook app, and you're trying to feel better, do you put 100 on Arizona or do you put 100 on Michigan in case they win? So that way
you put 100 on. You put 100 on Arizona, and if they end up winning the game, you get the money. Yeah, you don't want to do that reverse psychology thing. Okay. It doesn't work.
Yeah, definitely.
Because then you're like, oh, well, I win money if Michigan win. Like, it doesn't, but it feels like blood money.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what do you know?
What I would advise, if you do that thing where you put money on Michigan in hopes that you lose it, but give some sort of consolation prize if you're trying to console yourself. First of all, you put 100, go get yourself a Muskox flannel, number one, if you win that money, and that'll help console you for longer than that 100 will another other way. But secondly, don't watch the game, because that's what really messes your head. You're like, well, who am I rooting for? Just see the score at the end. That's what I would do if you're.
Or maybe tune into the second half. You can miss the first half. I don't know. I feel. Professor, I know it's opening weekend, but how is there no Tigers baseball to nap to on a 60-degree sunny afternoon? And bonus question. Graham, any commentary from coaches or players about the different basketballs being used during timeouts?
Well, we had Stephen Izzo tell us that they use the they practice with the balls they're going to use in the tournament. So the balls that Michigan State was practicing beforehand, I don't know why they changed these things up. I think that's dumb. It makes zero sense to me, but they do. So I don't know. There's not been a ton of commentary about it right now, other than Gino Auriemma being upset with like the rims and the scheduling and all that. And look, he's got some good.
He was
good
pissed
points
about the basketballs as well, wasn't he? He said they bounce all the way up to that. Like, why would you ever need a basketball to go that high?
Nobody wants that. Take the air out of the ball. Yeah, yeah. No,
worst basketballs ever.
By the way, yeah, and who says the refs get to decide what ball they use? Usually it's the players. I don't understand why refs get any say in what ball is actually used.
Fucking refs. TC Brunzi, UConn is a good model for MSU. A couple of good transfers that ended up being impactful. Damari was a low 4-star. Reed averaged less than 10 points at Michigan. But also a fifth-year senior in Caravan, a low 4-star recruit. And freshman 5-star Mullins. MSU can have this exact same makeup. And bonus, eating a jelly-filled groovy donut, I used my Muskox flannel as a bib and napkin. I realized that smearing the jelly in patterns creates an amazing new flannel design. I now realize both companies foresaw this outcome and made their products compatible for this result.
There's no doubt that Groovy Donuts and Muskox flannels are compatible. I try to keep the jelly limited to my chin, because usually it's all over the place.
There's 6 of them. It's easy.
Fewer with the Muskox flannel. But I can see this, Yeah. I look, and I've stained Muskox flannels before with my eating habits, and it always come out, though. I do appreciate their resiliency.
You and Ebling both have that problem.
Yeah.
Ralph E., number 1, UConn comes back. No Christian Laettner moment for Duke. And 2, tough weekend for Spartan sports. Spent 25 of the first 45 days of 2026 hospitalized. The hospital was hopping with Bears mania. Didn't watch the first playoff game and turned off the second at halftime. I didn't pay much attention to MSU hoops for a good piece of that time either. Learned that while sports are important, other things matter more. Time to move on to football and next year's hoops team in football. 3, speaking of hoops, do you think Carr will develop into an NBA draft pick next year? And bonus, Wendy's fries dipped in a Frosty is ass.
Is that something people do? Dip the fries in the Frosty?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Not
something I would do.
No, I like a Frosty, but I don't think I put fries.
But it just, honestly, I think it might be decent, but it just makes you feel so morbidly obese doing it.
Yes.
Like you're already, you know what I mean?
You're eating like
separately, I don't feel that way, but I feel when I start mixing stuff like that together, it's just the fatness it's starting to come out. I just don't want to be that fat.
You're talking about 2 of the worst things in the world you can have for you. Fries and Frosty.
Yeah.
And yet, you're right. Separately, I'm good with both.
There's just no need. I don't need to do anything like that.
To the question about Carr, I mean, I think it's going to be tough for him because if he was 2 inches taller, it would help. He is an unbelievable athlete, and if he's become a really good defender, and so if he that shot is going to be part of it. and if he can defend and he's a physical force in that sense, and he hits enough outside shots, he'll get a look. He's going to get a look for sure, and if not, he'll make a ton of money at the top of Europe.
Travis Maynard, no NCAA player deserved a deep run more than Cooper and Kohler. So at what point is it a disservice not adding that one elite piece to get over the hump? At what point would the guys actually want Izzo to pay someone more than them if it meant a real shot to end their career with a win?
No, it's a good point, but Cooper and Kohler were part of the problem 2 years ago, right? So, like, how would have they felt then? And would have you lost them? And so there's more the dynamics that are interesting. He didn't want to lose Kurtang, and, he may lose him anyway. He may keep him. I don't know. But, there's no doubt that they did not have what they needed at shooting guard this year. And they almost got it in Jordan Scott. But they asked a lot out of a freshman. He did a lot of good things, but they didn't have quite what they needed.
KP, number one, MSU needs to get serious about NIL. And 2, Coach K wins that game. And 3, Tiger will open a driving school.
The irony of driver's ed by Tiger Woods would be...
It'd be a funny SNL sketch.
It would be a great SNL sketch.
Graham with Chortle ad.
Yeah.
God. He is a terrible driver, though. It's unbelievable. How do you flip a car in those? It's in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Tiger, fuck. Fart Soup, Tiger Woods was at the Rube's house the day he flipped his car 5,000 MGs to the moon. It's true. Me and Bill Beekman were blazing.
And Tiger Woods.
What
a
there.
crew. There's a SNL skit.
Dude.
I would watch that. I would watch the hell out of that.
But I'm just asking, with the Tiger Woods thing, the guy has a lot of surgeries. Like, is it really that big of a concern that he's on pain medication, or the fact that he's a terrible driver when he's taking these? Like, all of the reactions and the Brandel Chambly, it was like, I do respect. I know people hate him, but I do think he's good he gets people going. He's kind of like Graham Couch of golf. He gets people going. But him to say, like, oh, he needs to quit golfing and all this shit. Like, no, like, what are you talking? Just stop driving.
Yeah.
Pill what you want to pill. Like, I don't care. I can understand. Chronic pain is a thing. Like, what are you supposed to take for a guy that's had that much? I mean, is he an idiot? Is he a cheapskate? Is he a dirtbag with the ladies? I mean, sure, you could say all these things against Tiger, but my God.
And if you're a ridiculously wealthy person, just have a driver who sits out front.
You got Dan Rappaport on there on Twitter, and he's like crying when he's like, I'm like, you guys don't even know all the facts yet of what's going on.
And most of these guys don't know some of these people, but some of these people don't even know Tiger. Tiger doesn't know you. I understand.
Well, Dan Rappaport kind of, he might know Tiger a little bit more because he is on the scene with these things. He does cover golf well. I just think he's just a tool sometimes. And like him trying to shed a tear, wanting to be first to react to the Tiger news. It's these guys are just unbelievable. It was like breaking news. Like, holy shit.
There's just lots of people who have it worse than Tiger to be more worried about in this world than Tiger. And you're not shedding a tear for them. And I understand we can do that whole deal. But
it's because he's a legend. He's a GOAT. I love watching it. I love Tiger Woods. Like I said, I die for him. That's why he needs to hire me. I'm saying, but he also does need. I mean, Tiger's not gonna go to everybody else is saying like he needs a friend to go talk to him. Like no one's going to go tell Tiger Woods, hey, Tiger,
When people don't know, that's the problem. You got a million people on Twitter saying, like, yeah, I know what's going on with Tiger. 99.9%.
That's why he doesn't have a driver, so he can do his pills and drive when and run around people. And he's probably been getting away with a ton of shit. He's been getting away with shit his whole life. Everywhere he goes. Look at the golfers on TGL. They just look at him and they're like, oh my God, the GOAT. Like Tony Dombrowski looking at anything. So it's like, how can he have someone in his life? It's like, Tiger, seriously, man. Really? Anyway, Lions reply guy. Jason, here is the inverse of my question last week, and this one is complete ass. Would you rather experience a Lions Super Bowl loss like Atlanta, up 28-3 or something similar, or Izzo misses the next 3 tournaments and he ends up retiring in lieu of being fired, similar to Boeheim?
So you've got to have one of those complete ass. Oh, my God. This is ass.
Or what?
You have one or the other.
I don't know. I don't have to.
Okay, you don't have to answer.
I'm going to be 47 years old next month. I don't have to answer that. How about that? Or what? I get detained?
I think for Jason, the worst thing would be getting to a Super Bowl and losing the 28-3.
The fuck you mean? It happened to the 49ers in 23. What are you? That was it. We were supposed to win the Super Bowl that year.
True. Okay.
Dan Campbell said it. I mean, it's already happened, and I don't like the question, so I'm moving on. Some dude. I don't want to coach Tom's team, but if Cooper missed that last free throw intentionally, I think making it would have been better. Then you're down by 1. Foul immediately, and even if they make both free throws, you have the better part of 4 seconds to come down and make a 3 to tie. If they miss one or both, you have a chance to win. 4 seconds was a lot of time. And bonus, Jason, can you please reenact Coach K's audio when Mullins let that shot fly? That is a top 5 bit on this show. We have 5 bits that are good. No.
Tremendous.
Wait, did Cooper really try to miss that on purpose? There's no way.
That's a good question. I didn't. It's funny, in all the stuff you're doing after that, I didn't ask about that.
You don't have to, because there's no way he missed it. He barely missed it. Like, if you're going to try to miss it, you kind of rifle it towards the hoop, no?
It's a good question.
Ball knowers, tell me. Richard Kane. Number 1, time travel event, 1915 Tour de France. Just kidding, Jason. It's the 1960 Rome Olympics. Ali, Wilma Rudolph's 3 golds, Rafer Johnson and C.K. Yang decathlon duel, a B.B. Beakley winning the marathon barefoot. Great hoops team, not called for dream team, Oscar Lucas West, all in the Eternal City. And 2, I feel like if you set your mind to it and could actually take the time to practice both of these, you would have a much better chance of bowling a perfect game than getting a hole-in-one, which is something like 15,000 to 1 odds. And bonus, MSU hockey loss is the worst choke job in school history.
Oh, there have been a few. I mean, I think 2004 MSU Michigan, football. There have been some others that have just been. Look, this was in hockey. It's hard to have the worst ever because so much hockey is hockey, right? So many more bounces. I'm not saying they didn't. You can use the word choke here. I think that's probably a little strong. I think they got timid, but that. I don't think it's the worst in history.
Is it bad to call it a choke job though? Like, is it offensive? I mean, they choke it. Yeah, that's a loss.
Yeah, no, they
choke loss, man.
They did. They didn't. Yes, yeah. There's an argument that it's a choke job. Okay, if you and I spent if right now we had to do one or the other, we would 100% the hole in one would be the better chance, even at long odds.
I was just saying mentally for what I do.
Yeah, but if you and I, he's right.
I get
though,
too much in my own head.
If you and I practiced a year. Just like every day, 8 hours a day bowling, we would probably have a better chance at bowling at 300 than the hole in one.
8 hours,
yeah,
fucking bowling. I'd hope so. I guess I'd hope so, but I still just feel golf would be the.
By the way,
one.
I just had a friend tear her Achilles the other day playing pickleball. And
that's not funny, Elizabeth.
Yeah. So
is that embarrassing? Is that something you don't tell people?
Somebody
you
is
trying to make up another sport?
I'm just saying, is somebody's trying to get rid of pickleball to go get people back to tennis where they belong. I'm just glad to see that it's as dangerous as MMA.
Was that a tribute to your friend? That
I don't know what I was saying. I don't know why it was in my head. Sometimes I say things and I don't know why. Apologize.
By the way, shut up. Chris Eastlick, number 1, shows like First Take ruin sports discussion. Everything has to be a blistering black and white hot take. There isn't any room for actual discussion. The obsession about Izzo and Mr. March has gotten exhausting. There are only a handful of schools who wouldn't trade for his resume. Hot takes from this show not included. And 2, what is it with Michigan and hyperbole? Everything has to be the greatest. The September Heismans, Dusty saying the academics are Stanford level, etc.
People love to boast, and a lot. Most of it has nothing to do with any of them. Just like most of the stuff at MSU has nothing to do with any of you. Especially, and look, I'm not a gatekeeper on fandom, and we talked about this. I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No, but I do think like if you didn't go someplace, like you definitely don't like the idea that you're going to talk trash about a place that you didn't go to one place. You've just chosen to be a fan of something. It's sort of weird to embrace trash talk. I guess that's what makes the sport. I apologize. I should have thought this through before I spoke, but yeah.
He just argued with himself.
Yeah,
Keith Stupera. I love Izzo's loyalty to his players, but loyalty in this era of college sports is not winning you a championship. Fuck yeah, Keith.
Yeah.
God damn it. But give him a gift card. If we had one.
But is the championship worth it then if you're just going to be a disloyal prick and it's not going to resemble?
You don't have to be disloyal. You don't have to be Will Wade.
Well, then you got to be one
of the...
There's
an in-between.
Well, then you can still be loyal. You can do what Izzo's doing and do the portal better. Is what you can do.
Yeah, I know.
You
can be talking about the super loyalty.
Izzo has tremendous advantages being Tom Izzo. Like he is a guy that recruits come in and their parents are in awe. Like they have a huge advantages with that. And he's so close and he's got the culture. He's done things that are hard to maintain and a lot of coaches can't do right now. And so all he has to do is embrace the final bit and he'll have it all. And so I think he can do it. It's just you can be loyal and you can still Now, you can't be loyal to a fault. You can't say, I cannot over-recruit Kurt.
You can't be D'Antonio loyal.
Not in this era.
No.
Correct.
Skiles, long pinky fingernail. Number 1, why the F do I like sports? You're lucky if your team wins one championship in your lifetime. MSU basketball, hockey, Red Wings all lost their seasons this weekend. Time to pull a Tiger Woods. And 2, thieves stole 12 tons of Kit Kats. What are you going to do with them, Graham? I saw that bit going around Twitter.
Yeah.
Everybody tagging their fat person in their life.
So wait a second. Somebody stole 12 tons of Kit Kat?
Allegedly, I guess.
Yeah, no.
Like, I know a fat guy. Hey, oh, yeah, this is like when Graham goes to the store, right?
Yeah. See, here's the deal. If it was Groovy Donuts, maybe I'd be your guy. But the problem is, I know Groovy Donuts are going to be fresh all the time. So I'm going to wait for a new batch. And then
this guy. Look at this guy over here. Bam. King of the live read. Adam, the MSU hockey loss was one of the most crushing sports defeats I've ever seen. How do we manage to be a top 3 NCAA hockey program for 3+ years with no Frozen to show for it?
Well, the first year when they were the 1 seed, they weren't better than Michigan. I think if we watch that game, so it's 2 years, and they absolutely have blown it. And there is a single elimination nature to it. And I think last year that deserved more blame because they were a much better team. This year, though, they were playing a team that was much more their equal, and they had them, and they blew it. And so that's on them. That's where it is.
Daniel R. Patterson, deflating weekend for MSU fans and alumni, but that's the breaks. Life goes on. Spartan basketball and hockey should both be good again next season. Go green. Bet Arizona to beat Michigan in a close game on April 4th. Bear down. Bonus. I'm glad we still have the Pistons this spring. Detroit versus everybody. Been playing good without Cade.
They are playing
10-3.
It's almost like they were out to prove something there. They need him back in the playoffs.
You think?
Yeah. Sorry, there's
that
an
your
obvious
first hot take that you forgot about?
Yeah, I forgot. I was gonna lead with the Pistons today. I didn't know if people
Dennis
would be
Jenkins is the real MVP of this team. Like, no shit. The best player has a collapsed lung. We're fucked. Thomas, the Tigers should wear some green and white for the next month so I can pretend MSU is still playing and is doing well. And bonus, you guys should advertise ways to submit takes or questions via email or something. Keep missing these since I've been on social media diet.
Yeah, I would just know that there's always going to be like...
And miss the Tigers should wear some green and white for the next month so I can pretend MSU is still playing. Oh, my God. Thomas.
I do put out on the Blue Sky the graham.couch@gmail.com, my personal email.
Too many dots. It's like trying to read one of the columns and it's just McLaren ads everywhere.
Just graham.couch and remember at Gmail. But you can always do that. And it's Sunday nights. We're going to do shows most Mondays. If it's a Tuesday, we'll still use the take. And going in, we do a lot of shows Fridays if questions. And so, if you get it in by Wednesday, even if it's a Thursday show, we'll get it in. So that just
and then if all else fails, we give you Graham's number. You just talk to him directly.
But we at some point we do. I would like to have some sort of different setup. But
Pat
this is what we have.
Caverly, when all you do is ice the puck and sit back and never try to initiate any offense, what the hell do you think is going to happen? A hockey version of a prevent defense, and it prevented them from winning.
Yep, I mean that's it. And it's been happening in sports for years and years and years, and it.
Stop doing it.
And it just makes it worse because it's one thing, if they had played the game like they were playing and Wisconsin had 2 amazing goals and got it to overtime, it would not have felt like it did. It felt like a collapse. And again, a strong word, but it felt like that because of the way they changed how they were playing. And if you play the same way and you're only up 2 goals and the other team has like 2 amazing plays, you tip your cap. It's just different. It didn't, it didn't feel that way.
Nate next. Hockey Franklin has made it clear he isn't going to get it done in the postseason. Good at winning a 7-team league, if you're impressed by that. And bonus, Scum wanted the current state of college sports so bad, paying players was the only way they were getting relevant again without cheating.
Yeah, they were relevant under Beeline. They've been relevant previously, but with the James Franklin Nightingale comparisons, I just don't think that's fair. Again, you can say a 7-team league, but it's a 7-team league that's like the top of the Big Ten largely. And I understand there have been some teams that struggle once in a while and all the things. But in terms of resources and where they are in college hockey, it's more like just taking 7 of the top 10 in the Big Ten. Okay, it is impressive. He's won tournament play in Big Ten tournaments and epic games. That it's not even a style of coaching. But again, they did lose this, and they blew it. And so that's going to be something that's going to follow them, and it should follow them until they correct it. But the James Franklin stuff is kind of shit.
The Chris Partlow of Southern Maine. Best, as someone that tends to eat his feelings this weekend, would have made me eat peanut butter cup groovy donuts until I vomited blood.
Well, I wouldn't do that, but they are amazing. It's truly, being out of town this weekend, I nearly thought about diverting my flight to Providence so I could swing by Groovy Donuts.
And bonus, bad season if you are a Michigan State fan, and Michigan success helps determine your self-worth.
You've got to find a way to avoid it. Again, I would recommend just, go muskox.com and wrap yourself in warmth and feeling your best and looking towards the fall. Like, get outside today, touch some grass, try to, it's tough.
Oh, I feel better now. Sparty Chemist, it sucks, and I'm sure that it will hurt if Michigan wins it all, but you get up the next day and do your job. MSU plays again next year in the tourney, and that's something to look forward to, and it plays Duke in November in the Champions Classic. Yeah.
Hard to look forward to anything right now because it's a long stretch.
You know what, Sparty Chemist? Maybe in like 2 weeks, you drop this take. I'm like, yeah, all right. You know what?
It takes a minute. And I'm always trying to, for example, there's MSU football spring practice, spring practice availability tomorrow, and I'll be there, and it's Fitzgerald's going to talk, but it's not how I've covered this long enough. I know the fan base in terms of the last week of spring football, right before the game, people start to turn there. But it's like a 2-week come down after the basketball season when all the attention is still on basketball. If you're writing about football tomorrow, you're wasting your freaking time. Like I'm telling you right now, people will do it because that's their job and that's fine. It's their job to waste time. But it's not where people's heads will be for a while because it's just not natural. It's going to take 2 weeks, and then people can start to look forward. And it may take some big exciting thing happening in the portal or some change there too. People will recover. It's just going to be hard, and it's going to be hard while Michigan is still rolling for people.
Todd Truesdell next. In Izzo's offense, your point can't have more turnovers than field goals in the tournament. Absolutely brutal and baked. Please, Tom, die trying this time for real. The Final Four is in the next Detroit next year. We need a starting center. $5 million, baby.
Detroit again, yeah. You got to save the city. Like last time. Remember that was the whole thing last time. I wrote that column. Everybody wrote that down. Oh, God,
really?
So fucking, we
have to revisit that.
I just want to puke when I think about that column I wrote.
Really?
It's because it was such bullshit. I'm not saying it didn't bring resources in, and the city's come a long way, but the Final Four itself, I don't think had a lot to do with it. The Super Bowl, maybe a little. It was the same. And maybe I wrote it. I don't even remember when I wrote it. If it was then or the Super Bowl. But we've all written that.
Is that in the McLaren archive section on the LSJ.com? Can I find it somewhere?
It's on M Live when I worked there.
I'm scared to even do a search on that thing. What's gonna?
Do not write that column, okay? And if you're an editor and your columnist writes it, saving Detroit, which doesn't need to be saved, just fire them immediately.
Hey, speaking of, you and Comp good?
Yeah, why won't it be good?
I don't know. I saw you on Twitter getting a little lippy with someone sent this to me. Or you getting a little lippy with Comp, and
I didn't know. I'm just giving Comp shit. He knows the way I feel, like giving everything away on YouTube, and I understand lots of fans like that. But save it for the stories, and I would love to see more places.
I have a feeling though, if you're going to sit through that whole YouTube video, you're going to read Graham's story anyway. Like if you're that big of a diehard, you know what I'm saying?
Jim Leland used to do it best. You let the TV in for a minute. You give them. You have a no camera session where it's actual conversation. And Izzo used to have more of these roundtables. I just wish we did more of that, where it's not a camera in your face. It's not all that, and you save some for the work, save some for the stories. Don't just give it all away. Because what's the point of subscribing to Comp's site if right there, that's all he's got? The whole Izzo thing is right there. The fuck's the point of anyway, sorry, let's move on.
Clemens Spartan. No take because my opinion doesn't matter. But Graham, could you talk about the dissonance between Izzo's get back or die trying rhetoric versus actually having the roster talent to do so? The Final Four teams the last 2 years have all been loaded with top-end talent and NBA players.
Yeah, and I don't know if you need all-NBA guys. I mean, there are a lot of, let's look at Illinois right now. How many Illinois guys, now their point guard is, but he was a 3-star. He wasn't recruited to be an NBA guy. He was not supposed to be. And, Michigan's got a couple, maybe 3. Yeah, we'll see what Mares in the NBA. Mares is for real. But there's no question that he's done the part in terms of getting them back to being a upper tier team, top 2, 18-team Big Ten. We're talking about how many teams are in the Big Ten the last 2 years, right? gotten him to the second weekend. Like he's but there's another step to get back to, and he's got to make sure he has the roster that matches it. You're not wrong.
Shep next. Number 1, Izzo was the one who chose to say die trying. He didn't say die trying, but only doing it the same way I've done it. Time to put up or shut up, Tom. Let's see if you really meant die trying with no caveats or qualifiers. Hit that portal harder than Graham hit that guy down the stairs.
Which did not happen. Again, by the way.
No, I thought he wasn't gay.
He
was gay. But
he was gay, but there was no push down the stairs. He did fall down the stairs and die, but it was different from. I was not there. Jeez.
Likely story.
Yeah.
That's what innocent people usually say. 2, Rube. The other day you mentioned snorting tobacco with Vegas Dave. He went to my high school. He's a huge tool. The kind of kid that would cruise over to the middle school to talk to girls when he got his license. We used to egg his house and stuff him into lockers regularly. Ask me anything. Well, sadly, Shep, this is not the same Vegas Dave. I know that Vegas Dave who you're talking about, and I still would love stories about that penis. But this guy was just a sickly white guy that was in the Circus sports book that everybody was saying this guy was like on a heater, and he would write them with like a golf pencil on a piece of paper, his pics. So different, unfortunately, different Vegas Daves. But Rich Searing, number 1, Kyle Evans from UC Irvine. Go get him for the front court. And 2, Carr sounds like he's gone. And 3, the idiots calling for Izzo to go are clueless. We don't know how good we have it right now, even though it's always disappointing when you don't win a title. Many great coaches only get one. Why does Izzo come under fire for this?
Let's go to
we go to number 2. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What do we hear?
2, yeah.
Come on, Rich.
There's nothing I've heard from Cohen Carr that makes it sound like he's gone. And in fact, I mean, Cohen Carr distinctly said, like 8 feet from my face, at a press conference that about when he was talking about the other guys always wanting to be a 4-year guy at one place and what that means. Like he just said that the other day. Now Cohen Carr, if he left, would really, really surprise me. I mean, Izzo is again cold day in hell.
Cold day in hell before I give up on Cohen Carr.
I would be stunned if Cohen Carr leaves. To why Izzo has come under fire for he's set an expectation that he's got to meet, and he hasn't. Again, I think part of the problem is it's not that he doesn't have something really good going. Iowa waited like a freaking million years to get to this run for them. Brad Underwood's still probably going to screw this up, and it took forever for Illinois to go, and they're going to celebrate him with a statue. But it's partly because Izzo is so close, and people can see how it can be done, and it feels like he doesn't take advantage of every advantage at his disposal.
Fat Fitzgerald next. Question: do you think tampering is a real issue, and if so, what is the solution to solving it? Thanks, fellas. Love the show.
Well, there's got to be some.
We don't have enough time
this
for
is a
all
July.
that.
It's a July topic.
But there's got to be rules. It's real simple. You just have rules where, like in the NFL or the NBA, if you talk to somebody who's under contract, you'd lose a draft pick. You'd be fired. You'd have huge job. And then teams need to stop. Coaches need to stop. Pussyfooting around. If somebody's tampering with your guys, call them out. Call that jackass out. Call them by name. Call them publicly.
Why don't you write
something?
If you don't,
don't call them. You want something written. Call them out publicly, and that's the issue. You shame people, you call them dirty, you explain how they're dirty, and when they do, that'll fix it real quick.
Shame. KG, everything is cause and effect. We can wish Cooper was redshirted, but maybe he's not this player now without those early NCAA reps. Same with Jace. Maybe we're Jace-sized piece away this year, but we don't make the Elite Eight run last year if he doesn't break out. We don't get both.
Yeah, I mean, things would be different. Again, you can say the Cooper should have been redshirted, and I think they probably should have redshirted him, but also they needed him that last year. Based on the roster they had, they needed him. He played like 13, 12, and 13 minutes in the 3 NCAA tournament games as a freshman. The problem was they should have also brought in a transfer that year. That team needed a 5 that was a veteran. Then you redshirt Cooper. So there, and again, and maybe that changes who he is and how he develops, but I'm sure people would like to see what that would look like with one more year.
Steve next. One of the worst Spartan fan experience weekends in a long time. No Spartan teams on the horizon to erase this disappointment. Go Arizona, I guess.
Got to dig in on MSU tennis. They've got something going. That's where it's at.
This guy. Nick Gandhi, depressing weekend. I'm not sure I'm ready for the off-season content, but I will be there no matter what.
We appreciate you, Nick. That's what we want to hear. Yeah. Well, Pete Rose Hall of Fame.
Oh, fuck.
2 segments.
Great. Kurt Wisniewski, MSU hockey disappointed me. MSU basketball surprised me. MSU sports season is now over until the end of July. Now, let's go El Tigres. El Tigres.
Buenos tardes. It is time for the Detroit Tigers gambling update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Nick.
Verlander on the mound tonight, huh?
It's gonna be a fun Tiger season. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. That's the way to get over it. Watch the Tigers late tonight. There you go.
Maybe we can get Tony Dombrowski on. Be a dream. Dave Berwaldi, Izzo sounds like a man on a mission. Should be a hell of an upcoming few years. How good was Fear's locker room talk after?
Sounds like it was pretty good. I get that. I don't know how much is hyperbole in terms of Izzo saying it was the best locker room he's been a part of, or one of the best in those losing locker rooms that he's at. In their final game. But I think Fears has come a long way in sort of understanding legacy and opportunity and what it takes. And we'll see. He's going to get paid well to come back, and we'll see what he can deliver next year and where he can take his own game, because he's not a perfect player yet either. And but he took massive, massive strides.
Scotty Green's El Camino, number 1, 9 scoreless minutes in the first half. 9. Forget the rest of the reasons MSU lost. That can't happen. And number 2, the Nightingale honeymoon is over. Great bringing them back to relevance and winning the Big Ten 3 years in a row. But this NCAA hex can't become what defines him. And bonus, to get us out of this depression, how about a column on the cultural difference Fitzgerald and his staff have brought to the program? I want to hear about accountability, enthusiasm, line development, and getting rid of the general malaise Smith created.
Well, I'm not saying he's not doing some really good work, but there are a lot of people who write that bullshit for you. And I'm not saying it's bullshit because he's not doing it. What I'm saying is every time there's a coaching change, there are going to be people lined up to just spew what a difference this new staff makes, right? And then the next staff the same.
Are you talking about Stephen Brooks? You got beef?
Did Stephen Brooks do that?
I don't know.
I'm not saying Stephen Brooks. I'm just saying it's the people who want that to be the story. Now, I think there are interesting things about Fitzgerald early on with trying to develop a roster that I think is going to have some challenges, and I think this is an interesting time in MSU football. And there are definitely football columns to write, and so we will do that.
Rug and Tub next. Number 1, Graham, did you get the feeling that Izzo lost his passion post-game? I didn't get the sense that he's upset and fired up after the UConn loss. It seems like he was just happy to make it there and expected not to beat UConn. Are we at the point where Izzo is feeling contempt? And 2, is it fair to say that if you had to pin this loss on one thing, it would be Fears? Silly turnovers, missed free throws, and counted twice where he drove through the UConn defense to miss an open layup. If he scores 3 points out of these possible 6-point opportunities, we win the game. There's
no doubt. If he, it's the missed one and one in the first half was a key time, and yeah, if Fears, they could have won that game. It would not have taken a lot, and they could have won a game against Michigan if they'd had hit the shot here and there, or Duke. But in this game, I think was even closer than the others because at one point they really had it on the front foot, and they once they got it going, they still didn't. Finish some things that they sometimes do. But Caravan also hit some huge threes, and there was this counter to UConn had where UConn played really poised. UConn played really well in key moments on key possessions. I don't think Izzo's content, but I think he realizes that this was a team that he got a lot out of, and that's just him being realistic.
Steve Osborne. If Izzo changes his stance in the first half timeouts, we win Friday night. He lets teams go up 10 to 12-point runs before using a timeout. But please save the one timeout for the end of the first half just to run the same high ball screen set that they run all game long that never works.
Yeah, it's one of the things that irks me a little bit. That if I was to coach Izzo's team, I would say don't need that timeout there. I think
coach my team.
The possession, looking back, and I haven't watched the whole game, but I watched the ending, the final 5 minutes or so. Again, and watching that possession where they wound up with like a Tang heave three, and when Fears drives in and he gets sort of stuck before he kicks it out, that's the moment to get a timeout and use it and reset and try and get something better because they didn't get a good shot there.
Clark, the dice roll Johnson, apparently. Fans that tell fans in front of them to sit down when you're cheering for the same team should be electric chaired. They had this happen at a Lions game.
You did?
Yeah.
To you? Yeah.
Yeah. It was the playoff game.
Oh, yeah.
Too, when we spent a bunch of money on those tickets. I think it was that one. But it was like, I did sit back down, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait, fuck it. No, I'm not sitting down with this asshole. Because it depends where you buy the tickets, because they're season ticket holders, and they all have a vibe.
Yeah.
There's one section that has a vibe where they're all like kind of together, and they're telling people to sit down. It's like,
yeah, I understand. I think electric chair is probably a little far, but
electric chaired.
I get the sentiment.
Moneybag, worst sports weekend since I don't know when. Basketball was disappointing, but deep down kind of expected. Hockey was shocking. I'll be excited by the time the season starts, but right now it feels like I can't be moved by anything they do until a full calendar year from now. And bonus, for the second straight year, there's a tier of teams that's way better than the rest. The common denominator is that they use every resource available to them, whether that's money or the portal. I appreciate Izzo trying to do it the right way, but I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, well, the key is you keep Fears, you keep Carr, you keep Ward, you keep Scott. Go get a 5. That's it.
Izzo for Prez. Do we have anyone else on the coaching staff with a basketball-playing son that we need to keep an eye out for? And bonus, I hate sports. I need to find something else to make me happy.
Go Muskox.com. Sadi's son's a track star, so that's unfortunate in that front. But
can he play point guard?
Yeah, he's fast.
All right,
there you go. Yeah,
Ben Jen. Sorry in advance, Graham. Number one, MSU only had one hymn, which was Fears. They need to find 2 more hymns next year to have a chance. I'm not talking about development. Go find 2 stud muffins. Stud muffins? 2, now that it's open season on the LSJ after the McLaren issue, I need help. WWW stands for World Wide Web. Global. However, what the fuck? The LSJ is not accessible on my travels. Currently in Buenos Aires. I'm not using a VPN or anything, and I'm completely blocked without a VPN set to the USA.
That's interesting. I'll ask on that. You should be able to read the LSJ anywhere. I mean, we are a global publication. We are up there with the great ones in the world. Yeah.
Boy, Darwin Heavy D Williams. Everybody have a nickname today? What's going on? All right, guys. Just my opinion, but I'm sensing a disastrous offseason for MSU hoops. I think we lose Carr. Someone is going to throw him something we can't match, or he can't refuse. We need to keep him around, but I don't see it happening. I also wouldn't be surprised to see Scott and Tang.
Well, that would be a disaster if they start losing guys like that. With Carr, again, it's different. This isn't limited. This isn't Trey Holloman, who had a limited amount of time to make as much money as he could. Cohen Carr is going to make so much money in Budapest if he has to that it's going to. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just ridiculous. He is going to. He'll dunk his way to
Budapest,
or wherever he goes. Germany, wherever he is. He's going to be fine.
Great. Corey Ostrom. I woke up Saturday with a calm over me. I realized MSU men's basketball exceeded expectations in the regular season and met them in the tournament. It can be true that both the season was a success and yet not a satisfying season going forward. Izzo must invest in winning.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good way of putting it. It can be frustrating, but again, this maybe it's not a memorable season, but it was a good season. It was a really good season. Most teams don't get that, and I think it's just people want to be at the top. And again, the Michigan component of this adds to it all. There's a frustration with look down the road, what's happening.
Spartan Dog 97. Adam Nightingale is Rick Barnes on ice. Good coach, but chronic tournament choker and bonus. Izzo needs to decide if he wants to end his career coming up short while doing things the right way or cement his legacy by finally tapping into the resources at his disposal.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot. I mean, look, these guys are paid. It's the question is, and he wants his roster to but it's clear what he's got to do right here, and I think he knows that.
DMB Blue Wall Bumgardner is the new Wojo. Glad he got away from the offensive line tape to take his regular shots at Sparty. You better get your boy, Couch. Yeah, what's up with Baumgartner?
I don't know.
We got to get him on next week.
Yeah, we'll get him for
He's kind of like he was going after some guy, asked him to follow him back so they can talk like gentlemen. It's like, Nick, dude, what the fuck?
All right, we'll get Nick on.
All right, yeah. Bonus, such irony of Walmart Wolverines getting more glory after all the scandal and scandals is similar to MAGA getting Trump back into office for a second term. It just reinforces the worst parts of society. Spartan stuck with Spiro and the Burnerverse. It's not over. It's never over.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, Matty B, number one, it would be nice to have one team that doesn't choke in a big moment. Maybe Spartan Ventures will make athletics start trying and caring about winning. As long as the Board of Education doesn't never mind. We can't have nice things. And 2, good to see the Blue Wall Baumgartner make an Izzo response about tampering directly related to Michigan and tell Tom to bring receipts. Couldn't possibly be the whole sport. At least Nick finally said something about cheating. He's been absent from the Michigan football cheating discussion.
I've missed this whole Baumgartner thing. We'll have to get him on. I'll have to see what's going on here. Nick is a level-headed dude. He's not
That's
usually.
what I thought.
This is weird. Yeah, the Michigan State cares about winning. They could now, but again, a big offseason, no question.
Faucet Liquor. I'm seeing comments in here saying MSU will be the favorite next year if they get a starting center. I don't get how anyone would see it that way. Carr is ass. Scott is ass. Ward is ass. Fears is the only good player, and he might take his bag kicking to the NBA.
Yeah, he's top 60 prospect tops. I don't know.
You're going to answer that seriously?
He's not. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Kerr Putang. Izzo is fighting a ghost. He's built a program capable and with every resource to enter each season as a favorite to win it all. The Final Four not on the schedule. Fucking you want to just have this guy on because everybody. All right, the Final Four not on the schedule podcast says he won't get a big. That's a shame. And not dying trying. If that makes us bad fans, I don't effing care. And when I say big, I mean a real difference maker. Or fight like hell and bring Cooper back.
Yeah, he's got to get a guy. And I have not heard that they will not try to not. He's going to look at his roster. He's going to see it. I think. Again, I've been wrong on this before this time of year, and Izzo is great at making fans nervous about that sort of stuff.
Ken Chu, tough weekend for our Spartans, except tennis. Fishing is cathartic. Go fishing.
Good thing for Nightingale, he's like a fishing guy. So eventually you can just go up to Minnesota and the lakes and, fish, do something else, touch grass.
Yeah, be nice. Zeke enjoyer. MSU hockey. Biggest choke job by an MSU team is a meaningful game since 2006 football versus Notre Dame. And Graham, can you give your best impression of Valenti's rant? Make plays.
I was at the 06 MSU football. I don't, I remember it, but I don't have it queued up. I don't. Jason.
No shit.
Yeah.
All right. Couch on fire. Wow. We need a name for that ugly weekend. Revenge of the Nerds, maybe? Is it safe to leave the house? And bonus, add another late season meltdown by the Red Wings to the list. But hey, baseball.
The Red Wings' last 2 weeks is worse than anything MSU hockey did the other day. It's one of the more disappointing collapses. That is a collapse right there.
John in the desert, my take. See you for football season.
Appreciate you, John.
See you later, John. Hans Jurgen, number 1, I spent the last 2 days watching highlight tapes of our recruits and portal candidates. I'm such a loser. And 2, Jarvis and Medlock look good, but I would rather take a sure thing like buying Vanderbilt's all-SEC guard Tyler Tanner. And 3, if you're a Go Blow fan who is listening to this show because you get your jollies over the pain of Spartan fans, all I have to say is Ann Arbor is a whore.
Oh, W word, guys.
W word.
Yeah.
Ann Arbor's a W word. And bonus, cheer up, MSU fans. We have a 5-7 football season to look forward to.
Maybe 4-8. 5-7 seems rich. No, I'm kidding.
Jake Hawkins, number 1, pure March Madness at its best yesterday. Hell of a shot UConn made to win the game. I believe MSU was in on Braylon Mullins' recruitment. If we only could have landed him, we could have used him Friday night. MSU couldn't even buy easy layups. And 2, was pretty busy on Saturday, so I wasn't able to watch most of MSU hockey game against Wisconsin. When I got home, got an alert saying that it was going into overtime. Right when I turned on ESPN2, I saw the heartbreaking shot happen. I couldn't believe my eyes, still in shock. And 3, so the NFL has begun hiring replacement refs because labor talks with official NFL refs have broken down. Seriously, this again? What the hell? Are we seeing another controversial ending at a game? And like the 2012 Monday Night Football game between the Packers and Seahawks, get a grip on greed, Goodell.
I think they'll get this fixed. I do think they'll get this fixed.
I love you, Hawk. And Jerk Guy, number 1, I frequently think in times like these, if you can't beat them, join them. But then I think I'd prefer to have a moral team who follows the rules. And 2, Spartan Stadium needs to have some of those over-the-top food items like you see at minor league baseball.
Just Groovy Donuts. Groovy Donuts and a good shop for Muskox flannels. Those 2 things exist at Spartan Stadium. Life gets a whole lot better. I hope you hang in there. We appreciate you all. We do. We appreciate this, and think life will get better. It will not change. Maybe not this weekend. I would avoid the TV this weekend if you can. Maybe watch the Tigers. Just watch the Tigers. We appreciate all of you for producing our show. We appreciate Muskox. Go Muskox.com. Peacock for $15 off your flannel purchase. Look your best, feel your best, wrap yourself in comfort. We'll be back midweek. We'll do this again. Well, not this again, but we'll talk to you. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Room.